Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome to another edition of RossonARI TV. It is another AC Milan news day. We are going to be talking about the AC Milan news, new names. Skynet is busy. Skynet is searching. Skynet never sleeps. Do you trust Skynet, guys? Let me know in the chat if you trust Skynet. Anyway, guys, we do have some interesting names that emerged yesterday. Some journalists even claim that some of these names are imminently going to be joining AC Milan. So we are going to be discussing those. It's going to be quite interesting, and then we're going to do a deep analysis on some of these new players. But before doing that, let me just make sure my audio is good. Antonio, what's up, my man? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. So, how's the Milan universe treating you today?
Honestly, I'm just confused. There's like a lot of news like about all other teams. Like I don't think I think this is like the most different players Milan has been linked with without like really narrowing in on like one or specifically. So I'm really confused because every day you get new names. So I don't know. I mean I like most of the names we're linked with, but it's like what is happening? When are we gonna actually get one of them? That's what's confusing to me.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Obviously, it's going to happen sooner or later. The players are going to start coming in, players are going to start going out. Let's not forget that the Mercato officially starts July 1st, I believe. And also, something else that needs to be said regarding the free signings. A lot of their contracts haven't officially expired yet, but then again, you do have players like Indica, RR that have pretty much made their moves. They pretty already much gone to Roma and almost officialized their signings. At least they've done their medicals. Anyway, listen, before we get into the reports of the day, let me say hi to chat. Valentin Bosch, what's up, my friend? Rosso Bird TV, that's right. Here and the one and only Velko Vasic says, if we only could go back in time like John Connor did. True. Christian Pazmino, what's up, my friend? How's it doing? We need CDK. Bro, I want CDK's mom to be the new DS of AC Milan. I think that she has more personality than anybody else.
Hey Roy, actually, before you keep going, I have a question. Can you explain the Skynet reference? I understand the whole Matrix idea, but what is the Skynet reference?
You don't know, bruh. You don't know what Skynet is?
No, not really. I
Oh
mean, okay,
my lord, guys!
okay, hold on.
Zoomers kill me, dude. Zoomers kill me.
If it's related to the Terminator, then I watched that movie when I was like really little, so I don't even remember.
Skynet is the AI program that takes over, and it takes over the planet essentially.
Okay. Well, I watched it. I gotta rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
So right now we are being run by AI, and the Skynet is who is running us, and we're looking for John Connor. Yeah.
And Roy, also one more thing.
I can only take it as a joke at this point. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing. Also, Forza Italia today against Spain in the Nations League. So I'm excited about that.
Well, Italy is going to boast of a pretty strong team today. Like all the players are pretty fit. The only player that Italy is missing is Bastoni. He had a fever, but everybody else is there. Immobile, it looks like Immobile is fit, Retegui is fit, Zaniolo is fit, Chiesa is fit, Raspadori is fit, Gnonto is fit, Pellegrini is fit, Barella is fit, Jorginho is fit, Verratti is fit, Spinazzola is fit. All of them are fit today. So like Italy has a really strong team today, but it's Spain. It's Spain. So Spain is no matter
Spain
what.
Is probably the worst opponent for Italy possible.
For anybody, Spain is the most difficult opponent for anybody because they know how to keep the ball, and you're just chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing.
Even for Italy's style of play, especially because we like the ball, but they like it more than us. So that's the way they like.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult match. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully, Italy does well. But we'll find out later, guys. We will actually end the stream as soon as that match starts. That's the finish point today. The first signing Redbird needs to make is Paolo Maldini. Ronaldinho says yes. Alan, what's up, Alan? How you doing? Forza Milan. I heard that guy is really good. Paolo Maldini is pretty good. Yeah, I heard he's quite legendary.
Hey Roy, also, if this is okay with you, I would be down to, I'm feeling generous today. I'd be down to do a watch along if you want to get off.
No, I can't.
I can do it if you trust me.
If you want to start another stream, sure, you can do a watch along.
All right.
We'll just finish Milan news by then, and then we can set up another stream and do.
Sounds
and
good.
if you want to, you can do a watch along. Tired of getting made fun for low balling teams, Marv Diaz says. Yeah, I hear you, my man. Why is Milan not buying any of the free agents? Is it because our salary cap? Is it BS? Well, it is one of the reasons for sure. It is one of the reasons that definitely limits our market, the salary cap. Okay, listen, let's get into it. Let's get into the first report, which is usual names. Of course, we're going to be quite repetitive every day regarding the new names, but we do have some updates regarding the Thuram Scamacca situation. It looks like Scamacca is gone. Apparently, I've heard today that Scamacca's entourage have already an agreement with Roma. At this point, Roma just needs to negotiate with the club. So Scamacca has agreed to join Roma. That's another target that is gone. Therefore, we are still on the hunt for Thuram. But guys, we spoke about Thuram yesterday. Like, should we really pay all this money to a player that hasn't achieved anything yet? I mean, what has Thuram achieved so far in his career to merit all of this money? So let's get into the first article of the day. Gianluca Scamacca has been linked with a move to AC Milan over the last 2 weeks, but it seems the latter are fully focused on Marcus Thuram. In fact, Scamacca has now given priority to Roma, report claims. I heard today that Scamacca is pretty much settled with Roma. They have agreed on terms. It's just, as I said earlier, it's just a matter of dealing with the clubs now. Milan are looking for a striker ahead of next season after the departures Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Divock Origi, and Ante Rebic could also leave the club this summer, meaning at least one striker will be needed. Milan are in advanced talks with Thuram, who could join on a free transfer, and a decision is expected very soon from him. Due to this negotiation, the Rossoneri have not been able to move for their plan B Scamacca, who now appears poised to join Roma. According to Gianluca Di Marzio, as cited by Milan News, Scamacca is given priority to Roma, and a meeting will take place today. Only the okay from West Ham is missing for the loan deal, and it seems Milan will miss out on the former Sassuolo man. So here we are, guys, trying to pursue Thuram, trying to convince him to come to us. The guy wants a boatload of money that, I mean, fuck, we should be giving that money to the next Ballon d'Or players, not a guy that had decent numbers mid-table club in Germany. It's like we're going to whoever. It's like we're getting Arnautovic, yeah. Let's make this a comparison. We're going to a mid-table striker in Italy. We're bringing him to Milan, and we're giving him the highest salary, 10 million sign-on bonus fee. And in the meantime, we are losing our targets. Now, Scamacca is not my favorite target. We know on this channel, Antonio and I have agreed that the number one target should be Taremi, because we want results. We want results. Taremi looks like the best guy. But here, guys, I don't know what to think about this. It's like, what are we doing? Why are we chasing this guy for so much money? And in the meantime, we're also losing targets. Antonio, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I would say that even though I have never been as big of a Scamacca fan as you, I do like, I like him, but you really like him, it sounds like, although you said you'd prefer Taremi. I still think that Thuram is the worst out of the three striker names that we've been talking about. Listen, I could be wrong. Maybe the way we play suits him. Maybe he steps up another level. Maybe Pioli gets the best out of him. Maybe he's somehow in Serie A, even though he doesn't have the best technical ability, does well. I don't know. I'm not like a professional. But from what I can tell, I just have a feeling that he's not going to do well in Italy. I don't like his technical ability. So I'm not too high on him. Now, he's better than nothing. I agree. Maybe, I guess I'd rather have him than Arnautovic just because his upside is a lot better and he's a bit younger, so he could enter in his prime.
He's 10 years younger.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, for me, that would make him a bit more desirable. However, like I said, I would have preferred some of these other names. Thuram, the situation for me, like he's got offered 7 million from PSG. Milan maybe are between 4 and 5 million. I think we offered him. It's unclear. I think some sources say 5. Pioli, for me, I think is the reason why, because I think he really wants him. Pioli, I think, thinks likes him as a player, so I think Pioli wants him in the team. I mean, I want to see if we get this guy. I think Pioli plays a big role in it. And I want to see how he does because, listen, I've always said that I don't want to criticize Pioli until he gets his players because he's been doing. I think he pulled off a miracle with the Scudetto with losing some of our players, and he's been keeping us in top 4. So as much as I doubt his ability as a top tier coach. If he gets his, I'm not going to kick him out until he gets some quality or some players that he wants. And if Thuram is that guy, then let's see. I'm not going to be upset if he joins. Obviously, I'm going to be I guess I'll be happy that we signed somebody. He has a lot of hype, but I think that's the thing about him is I think it's more hype than actual on the field performances. So that's why I'm skeptical because when I've seen him with my eyes, he's not that impressive. But everyone talks about him. He's in the French team right now, which is really hard to do. So, that's kind of interesting. He's around the best players in the world. So,
the issue with Thuram for me is the business aspect of it. Okay, we're not fans of the business, but when the business is so bad, you have to really raise your eyebrow and what the hell is going on? But anyway, so this is the story right now. We are here playing a tug of war with Thuram. In the meantime, we're losing targets as we're waiting for him. I don't know if how much of a target Scamacca really is for Milan at this point. since they are looking for Thuram. Thuram and Scamacca are two very different players. Scamacca is a player that comes to you and is very good at shoulders to goal. He's very good at linking with the defender, with the midfielders. Scamacca is very good at bringing the midfield up. He's a very technical player. Very different profile than Thuram. While Thuram is more a player that likes to look for space and is more of a physical player, etc., etc. So Thuram is not the best player in order to to open up low blocks. He's not really that kind of player to open up low blocks. Thuram is a player that is much better for open space, while Scamacca is a better player for low blocks based on his game. So I don't know. It's quite interesting what they're doing. It's baffling. Let's see how this telenovela ends. I will trust anybody but this Skynet, as he says. Just sign anybody. I don't give a fuck who we sign. Pioli didn't keep us in top four. He got there from the court. True. That is definitely true. All right. So that's the situation with Thuram and Scamacca. Let's move on. So there's this. So Pellegatti, guys. Very interesting character. One of these very interesting AC Milan characters. He's been talking about Frattesi and a possible meeting with the agents. Now, Frattesi has said that he wants to go to a big club, especially if it's an important club. Now, the one really positive thing about Frattesi is that Frattesi is perfect for the double pivot role because that's where he has been playing essentially in Sassuolo, since they play a lot of times with 4-2-3-1, and in the double pivot he had success. He's also a player that with good incursions he scores goals. I've seen him perform a few times in the national team, and I was very impressed by his feet, by his intensity, and by basically his grinta. He's got a lot of grinta, but he also combines grinta and quality together. Very interesting player. I don't think we're going to sign him because there's a price tag on him, but this would be actually a pretty good, let's say, deputy to Benacer. Especially, guys, let's not forget, we will not have Benacer until freaking Christmas. And to add to that, due to the status or due to the category of his injury, we might not see a fully fit Benacer till next season. So it is very important that whoever Milan gets to replace Benacer is going to be up to par. Frattesi is a profile that is interesting, a lot of high ceiling because he's very young still, a lot to play for. He is in the national team right now, national team player already. Okay, let's get in this article and then let's go to opinions. Due to Benacer's injury, one of AC Milan's priority this season is to bring in a midfielder. Davide Frattesi has been linked with the club and could become a concert target, as Carlo Pellegatti highlights. Benacer will be out until the end of the year after undergoing knee surgery 1 month ago. As a result, looking at the starters, Milan only have Sandro Tonale and Rade Krunic available from the midfield tandem currently. Giorgio Furlani and Jeffrey Moncada, also aka Skynet, are working on finding a midfielder to reinforce the squad, and as reported by Carlo Pellegatti on his YouTube channel, Frattesi could become an option. Juventus and Inter are also keen, but Milan will have a meeting with the player's agent Beppe Rizzo. Milan want to understand the situation and then decide if they can enter the race for the 23-year-old. Sassuolo are asking for 25, 35 for the player, and only after meeting we will know if the Rossoneri will move themselves. Now, before I go to Antonio, another thing about Frattesi is the Inter link.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, why don't you take over?
Yeah.
First of all, before you go take over, let me say I am for the Frattesi signing. I think Frattesi would bring in a lot of depth and quality and quantity too. But is this one going to happen, guys? I think there's more chance that the Skynet finds John Connor than Frattesi joining Milan. All right, go for it.
Romano, who is for me like the most secure journalist. I mean, just because Di Marzio's better or whatever, Romano basically like fact checks and just once things are basically done, he tweets. Yesterday, he tweeted that Inter for sure have met and are now actively discussing with Sassuolo for Frattesi. Now, Inter have a lot of financial issues, so it's not going to be easy for them. But when Romano tweets this in Inter or after a player, usually they end up getting him one way or another. I think Inter is going to sell one of their best players this summer, one of their better players, and to help them finance the mercato because they need to sell. And so Frattesi, that's like what. So it looks like Inter right now is the most advanced team. Juventus, Milan, other clubs like Roma, they're always in the background with these links, but nothing has been too advanced for him yet. But as of now, Inter is in pole position. They're in first place for this race, I guess. I don't know if Milan, because of the price tag, I think I agree with you though, Roy, because we need a starting pivot midfielder because without Benacer, we're kind of in big trouble. If we have to spend money on one position, it might actually make sense to buy a central midfielder or as well as maybe one forward player if we can pull it off. But if we have a 30 million budget, it's going to be very tough. So with that whole budget thing, I don't know how realistic Frattesi is because Sassuolo is not going to sell him for less than 25 million. It's going to be at least that much money. And I don't know if a loan move is possible. I doubt it. So there's complications with the funds and how we're going to get Frattesi. So it's really frustrating. But I think he's a really good player.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I heard about Inter, guys, that I think is very interesting. So, and it also kind of good news for us. So as you guys know, Chelsea has been trying to see what the situation is with Magic Mike Maignan, the irreplaceable Maignan. And as we have read in these past few days, that Maignan has no interest to go into Chelsea, mostly because Chelsea is not competing in the European clubs, according to reports. And also because maybe I do feel that Maignan right now does have a connection with Milan, and he probably wants to keep on staying with Milan. But what does this mean? So there is an offer on the table from Chelsea. They are willing to get Onana, pay for Onana, and also in exchange keep Lukaku at Inter for one more year on loan and send Koulibaly out there on loan. And then with the money that Inter gets, that could be part of their funding that they can use for the Mercato. So it looks like Onana might be their sacrificial lamb that they're going to use to fund their Mercato. But the other guy is most likely going to be Brozovic. Barella, at this point, from what I'm seeing, from what I heard, he is not moving unless the price is like 100 million, 120, kind of the same way, essentially the same way we feel about Mike Maignan. Maignan shouldn't be moving anywhere unless it's for 100, 120, 150. Inter feels the same way about Barella. So this is what I've taken from the Inter universe as I was doing my research yesterday. And so it looks like the two players that they're thinking of using in order to fund their Mercato is the sale of Onana, and they're going to bring in Koulibaly to replace Skriniar, and then the sale, and then Brozovic, and then use that money to make the other operations, which means bring in maybe SMS or Frattesi, as yes, right now they seem to be going in all over Frattesi. And 100%, thank you for reminding me, Ernesto, buy Vicario for 15 million. That is the player that they want to get to replace Onana, Vicario. So that's the situation there. That's why the Frattesi situation right now looks more connected to Inter rather than us. But, we're there. We're there, the little kids. Hey guys, we're here. Hello. We're kind of making ourselves known that there is a possibility we might get him. So that's the situation with Frattesi. We'll see what happens with that. Guys, before we move on, let's go to the next article. Guys, please click that like button. Skynet never sleeps. Skynet is always downloading new information. Skynet is always searching for the next target. Make sure you feed the algorithm. Make sure you feed the beast. Click that like button, guys. Let's do it. Milan are rumored to target right wing Luca Romero from Lazio. Very interesting. Yes, Tayo Taz. Very interesting. That is another player that is linked to Milan that we are going to be talking about for sure. Okay, so let's keep on going. Let's go to this very interesting article here that outlines a lot of players here that we can look at the same time. Milan set meeting with agent to discuss 8 players from Frattesi to Traore. All right, here we go. AC Milan are making moves on the mercato, and with the start of July approaching fast, they have scheduled a meeting with the agent Beppe Rizzo. Beppe Rizzo, very busy agent. With him, the Rossoneri will mostly discuss their own players. According to Daniele Longo of calciomercato.com, Milan will have a meeting with Rizzo between the end of this month and the end of this week and the beginning of next week. Returning loans will be the focal point, but there's also another name. So Sandro Tonali is one of the players. Now, guys, I've been seeing a lot of links for Sandro Tonali. A lot of teams want Sandro Tonali. We're going to look at that. But as far as has been reported, Sandro Tonali has no intention to leave AC Milan. He's not listening to any offers. He wants to stay at Milan. This is what we know so far. But remember, guys, Skynet does not have a soul. The bots are not sentient. If the price is right, Skynet might even consider selling Sandro Tonali. So keep that in mind. He wants to stay at Milan, as is obvious, and Milan will only consider crazy offers. It's possible that the parties could discuss a renewal for the midfielder. Okay, another player that was discussed, and we can opine on all of these players, Chaka Traore. His contract will expire in 2024, and Milan want to renew him. One of the bargaining chips will be using him with the first team on occasion next season. A loan is also possible, but only in the event of a renewal. So let's stay a little bit on Chaka Traore. Chaka Traore, very young, interesting prospect. Very good winger, a lot of skill. That he already has experience playing with the adults at Parma. He did have a good run with the Primavera in the Youth Champions League. Now, do not get too confused about the results of the Primavera in the league. AC Milan has one of the, if not the youngest team in the Primavera. Remember, guys, but 17, 18, 19, when we're talking about those brackets, the age matters a lot. The difference between a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old is immense. So let's not underestimate the talent of these guys based on the results domestically. Now, but we saw that against their own age bracket in the Youth Champions League, the AC Milan did really well against teams like Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, Salzburg, and other squads. Even Dinamo Zagreb, which is one of the top youth academies in the world. Chaka Traore is one of the best players in the Primavera. Now, let's go to opinions. I do think that Chaka Traore should be moved into the first squad. He should be given the opportunity to play in the first squad. We need to see what he looks like with adults because he already has done that. But this is one of the gems in our Primavera. And I'm not so much for a loan for him. I would rather see him be with the first squad this season, see how he performs. Then if the coach or the management feels like he needs more time, send him out on loan and then bring him back. But this is the time for Chaka Traore to come out and show what he's worth. What about you, Antonio? What do you think about Chaka Traore? Hold on. Antonio's going to be back soon. So this is how I feel about Chaka Traore, and I would like to see him. I would like to see him with the first team. What do you guys think about Chaka Traore, guys? Hey, Roy, Chaka could be a good addition to the first team once your guy Pioli starts using him. Listen, Asen. First of all, what's up, my friend? Chaka Traore, if he comes to Milan, he won't be given the responsibilities to put Milan on his back, right? So Pioli does not have the pressure to use this youngster and put AC Milan on his back. He can come there as a sub, come and play the last 20 minutes of games, add a little bit of flair if you need him last minutes of games. He can play some games. And also, if he does excel in the trainings, maybe even use him as the starter. But now is the time to give him a chance. I really do believe that. I really 100% believe that. Let's give the kid a chance. Why not better than Ranks and Bakayoko? Absolutely, 100%. Let's see how he performs in preseason. Yeah, true. We are definitely going to be seeing that. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of the Primavera players in preseason. 100%. 100%. Shaka Torre is a good talent. El Hilal also. That's another player, guys. Very interesting prospect. It's a little bit sad to say, but I did see our former legend DS Maldini in a long form podcast interview, and he said that only 1% of youth academy players make it to the first team. Chaka Toure could be in the conversation of being in the 1%. He could be. No one underestimates our Primavera players more than Pioli. That is funny. I wonder what Pioli will do with Daniel. Guys, I don't know what will happen with Daniel Maldini. So this article keeps on talking about the other players. Marco Nasti. Guys, Marco Nasti, another very interesting player. He had a pretty decent season with Cosenza, scoring some important goals. This is another player to look out for. I will make a prediction. Marco Nasti is probably going to be a player that we're going to see in the Serie A not too far away from now. His contract will expire in 2026, and he's set for a new loan spell after doing well at Cosenza this past season, helped them stay up in Serie B. Parma are interested and could be the striker's next destination. So this is excellent experience for this player. Marco Nasti, first of all, he's got an awesome name. And the other thing is that this player, guys, looks like to be a real deal kind of striker that if you develop really well, either you can use him in the first team in a few years, or you can sell him and make a capital gain. Then we have Daniel Maldini. He only has 1 year left on his contract, and Paolo's exit doesn't change things. A renewal will be discussed so that a loan can materialize, with the playmaker still needing more time on the pitch. So Daniel Maldini, the information I have about Daniel Maldini is his father, former legend DS, fired like an intern from AC Milan, said in his long in the podcast that he did. Basically, it's the Joe Rogan of Italy. He was on this podcast in Italy, and he spoke about Daniel Maldini. And he said Daniel Maldini has a lot of qualities. He's very good, but he needs to mature more. So he was speaking about how some players mature faster and some players take a little bit more time, right? This is common. This is known. This is a known fact about football players. And Daniel Maldini is part of the latter. He thinks that Daniel Maldini will come to fruition, but he needs more experiences and he needs more time to get that experience. So another loan for Daniel Maldini should be good. I don't think Milan should be getting rid of Daniel Maldini, man. I really don't think so. I think that is going to be a mistake that one day we will all regret. I think, my opinion. Marco Brescianini, guys. I looked at this guy's numbers, and this guy had a great season. So the midfielder did well along with Nastia Cosenza, and a 2-year extension is likely. Only after that can Milan think about a new loan in Serie B. Even if he might not be Milan material, he's destined to give them some capital gain. Brescianini played the whole season as a starter, and as a midfielder had a really good goal contribution. Something like 4 goals, 3 assists. As a midfielder, a double pivot midfielder, those are really good numbers for this player. Marco Brescianini, a very interesting prospect. Yes, someone that can either come back to Milan or use him for capital gain. Then, of course, we have Lorenzo Colombo, who is right now in the U21 squad. We're going to be seeing him perform against the U21s around Europe. Lorenzo Colombo is set for another loan spell as Milan will exercise the 3.5 million buyback clause, with Lecce triggering the buyout at 2.5. The next step is a club that can fight for European spots in Serie A. After then, hopefully, he will be fully ready for the Rossoneri. Guys, I really like how Milan is developing their players. I do really like this format of developing their players. I think this is a very smart way to do it. If we follow Colombo's trajectory after he left the Primavera, he did two spells in Serie B, right? First was what was it? Pescara, then Cremonese. Then he did one spell in the Serie A where he did really well. He scored the most important goal of the season for Lecce. I can't believe that they gave him the penalty that was going to decide whether or not Lecce was going to stay in Serie A or not. That's something that he will remember forever, the fact that he scored that goal. And now they want to give him another step and bring him to a club that is fighting for a European spot, like maybe Conference League or something like that. This is a very smart way to develop your youngsters from the Primavera. If this is the way we do it, guys, I really think that we're going to see a lot of dividends from this. So I'm a big fan of Colombo. Colombo has excellent qualities. Obviously, he needs to find more consistency in getting goals, but he's a player that I think, guys, not only is going to be important for Milan in the future, but he's going to be a very important Italian striker for the future. Whether it's going to be with Milan or not, I don't know. But I think the Lorenzo Colombo story is just starting. All right, Mattia Caldara, guys. This one here was a big flop. I can't believe how much we spent for this guy. Milan are ready to let him leave for free after Spezia's relegation. It will free up 3 million net on the wage bill. That's crazy. That is insane. As he still has 1 year left on his contract. This here, Caldara, is basically what happens when you have DSs that don't give a fuck about the club. You get these kind of operations right here. Mattia Caldara. Yeah. This one here, we definitely need to just get rid of this guy and free up those wages so we can use those wages for important players. Davide Frattesi, we spoke about him earlier. The midfielder is expected to leave Sassuolo this summer for a bigger club, and even though Roma, Inter, and Juventus are ahead, Milan cannot be ruled out just yet. Sassuolo are asking for 35 million, and Milan can only make an attempt if the counterparts are allowed. So these are all the Bepperizo players. A lot of these guys, except for Frattesi, are connected to Milan. A lot of them are very interesting. Milan legend Caldara. Yes, that's right. We need to keep Colombo. I was knowing that Colombo is a great player when he scored against Bodo Glimt in Europa League. Right. True. And I'm really looking forward to see what he does in the U21, because that's going to be a big showcase for all of these players. Guys, did you know that Vice Verasquilla was being considered to play in the U21 for Georgia, but he said no. He just wants to take the summer off. Interesting. Maldini is a waste of time. Brescianini is a shit, in my opinion. Well, no, I don't think so. I think Maldini is actually very good. A lot of good qualities, but you have to be patient with these players. You have to give them the time to develop, right? And honestly, Maldini would have done much better than CDK this year. We should have kept, honestly, in hindsight, we should have kept Maldini as the cam and not even gone for CDK. And we probably would have gotten better results. Firmino is going to Saudi Arabia. Mark my words. That is very possible. That's a good call. I bet you Cardinale will sell Maldini just because of his name for around 3 million, and he will invest some money in a Norwegian second league player. Yeah, most likely. That's right. This is regarding Caldara. I can't believe he was on so high wages. This is an example to what to Ram if he doesn't hit the ground. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is a very good comparison. Maldini scored 2 goals for Spezia. I think it was a little bit. I think it was more. Well, these players, you're not going to get a lot of high numbers now. But listen, I mean, you're free to think whatever you want. But in a few years, guys, we will see what Maldini is worth. and we'll see these players. Like you got to think of players like Zaccagni, right? Zaccagni, when they were age of Maldini, when he was the age of these players, like these were players that nobody thought about, players that you think they're shit, players that you don't think they're worth anything. But once they get to a certain age of maturity and they start to be accustomed and acclimated to the Serie A, they start to kick ass. I mean, look at Zaccagni this season. That guy was probably the best, one of the best left wingers in the season in the Serie A. Him, Leao, and Vice Verasquilla. It's those three. Those three were the best left wingers of the season. So you got to be patient with these guys, and you got to allow them to grow. Not all players hit the ground running when they're 20, 21, 22. Maldini, Roy, would you change this channel to Saudi Arabia TV and do Saudi League watch-alongs for $2 million a year? Yes, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Yes. Give us the contract right now. We'll do it right away.
I love the Saudi League. Sponsor me.
Anyway, the Saudi League right now is going for a lot of big players, so there's going to be a lot of attention on the Saudi League if they can do that. I trust CDK one more season. Yeah, I think the club will probably keep him for one more season and denounce Milan 100%. 2 million Saudi League.
AC who? AC who? Question mark. All I know is Al Nasser.
Yes. Skynet can go and screw themselves for all I care. If that is the case, 2 million a year, I will do watch-alongs for the Saudi League. I'll become an expert in the Saudi League, 100%. Is there anything concrete about anybody? It seems Milan are out of ideas on which department they want to invest most. They're running after every freebies. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have described it any better. Absolutely. That's what it looks like, and that's what it seems that is happening. We will see. All right, Antonio. So we spoke about a lot of these players that Beppe Rizzo has. A lot of these guys are youngsters. I just want to hear your opinion on Colombo, and then we'll move on. What do you think about Colombo? How do you see him progress in his career?
Colombo, he's interesting. I think you made a good point before when you said some players just takes way more time. I don't know how good he can become because even on Lecce, he wasn't consistently a starter. I think he was out coming off the bench most games. But he did have some good moments. He scored some really nice goals, especially against Napoli. That was a great goal. And he's physically strong, so he has potential. I mean, it's top flight, so it's going to be hard, obviously. It's kind of like his first time in the top flight. So I think let's stay close with him. For example, I want to hold on to our young players, especially Italian players, as long as possible because you never know if they turn out to be great. You can have one of the top players for the national team, and also having an Italian player with Milan is good because it helps to show off sort of the country and to have that Champions League spot basically. So I like that. For example, Dip Planche, the goalkeeper from Italy, U20, who won the Golden Glove at the World Cup. He was a Milan youth. I don't know if we can still buy him back or something, but he's in Serie C. But he looks really good. I don't want to lose Italian top talent. So I'd keep Colombo. Not everyone can be like Jude Bellingham, who at 17 years old was starting for Dortmund and was the captaining Dortmund when Marco Reus wasn't there. So some players, like you said, like Zaccagni, for example, they develop later and they can still be really meaningful players. So let's keep him. Let's see how he continues developing. I like it.
Yeah. Speaking of Jude Bellingham, his move to Real Madrid is said and done for north of 100 million. And also Real Madrid is looking to get Mbappe as well.
Bellingham is 19 years old, by the way.
Yeah. So Bellingham is one of these players that hit the ground running at super young age. So he's an example of that. But now it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to we'll see what his career is going to look like. But I wanted to mostly focus on Real Madrid. Real Madrid just spent or committed to north of 100 million for Bellingham, and they also want to get Mbappe. Real Madrid is looking to spend over 200, 300, close to 300. How much? How much are we going to spend in this mercato if they also get Mbappe? Because I don't think you can get Mbappe for free right now, correct? Like he has got 1 year remaining in his contract. So if they do get Mbappe, they have to pay for him.
Yeah, and listen, they're still, if they can't get Mbappe, mark my words, watch them go for like Aussie Man or someone like that, because they need a striker. So watch that happen. I bet you they're gonna go for someone, because if they don't replace Benzema, then there's gonna be a lot of questions. They lost Asensio, they have Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr., and really besides that, they don't have any other like full forward players. So they're going to get at least one more forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's whoever it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of money because if you want to get Osimhen, you're not paying him less than 100 million. That's at least the prices that were set during the season when we saw De Laurentiis. If you're going to get Lautaro Martinez, that's going to cost you a shitload of money. They're not going to go for Thuram to replace Benzema. They're not going to go. Real Madrid operates in a whole different. So, wow, they're going to spend so much money this summer. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. There was a question here I want to answer. Lurk says, Roy, honest to God, would you keep Origi and let him have a preseason or cash in and maybe it'll help us get Scamacca? Okay, so first of all, Scamacca is gone. He is going to be joining Roma at this point. He has already agreed to join Roma. It's just a matter of the two clubs, West Ham and Roma, agreeing on basically the contract on the operation. But what I would do instead is cash in on Origi and go get Taremi, because I think Taremi is literally, in my opinion, the best striker we can get. And I'm not talking about business here. I'm talking exclusively of on the field performance. This player, as we analyzed him these past few days, is a serial goal scorer in a difficult league like the Portuguese league. 150 games, 120 goal contributions. Not only he scores a boatload of goals, but he also does a lot of assists. As I said, just to make you understand what kind of player he is, and I'm just using these names as maybe an exaggerative comparison, but he is a perfect mixture of Suarez and Rui Costa. He is the Suarez type number 9, but he also has the number 10 qualities of a Rui Costa, those passes that split defenses. So Taremi is a kind of player, it's like killing two birds with one stone. I think that is the smartest operation Milan can do. Now, the problem with Taremi is his age. He's 30 years old. So this club, because of the situation of this club is going to think about it a million times before they get a 30-year-old, because once you're 30, you can't really flip a 30-year-old anymore. The prices don't go up from there onwards. But if Milan was a serious club and they wanted results on the pitch, Taremi would be the guy I would get to replace Origi 100%. That's my answer to that. Yes, we're going to do calls today. The last 30 minutes of the show, we're going to do calls 100%. Real Madrid don't care how much money they spend. They're winners, unlike Redbird. Where is Paul? I don't know where Paul is. Paul is MIA. How much will we get for... well, what about you? I mean, I know we kind of... I mean, I've spoken to you about it, Antonio. But... rather than telling me, about Taremi, because I think you and I agree on that, what do you think about Origi and his future? What would you do?
Get him out of the club immediately. Burn the jersey. No, I'm just kidding. But Look, I was optimistic. I tried to be optimistic about Origi. You can be like, oh, you were wrong about Origi. What I said was before he came, I like his technical ability. Maybe if he gets more playing time, because he wasn't playing like barely ever at Liverpool. If he gets more playing time, he can contribute more. And I said against us, he looked pretty good. So that made me somewhat optimistic in a summer transfer market where we had our best, our only good player was Malik Chow, and we didn't even know if Malik Chow was going to be good, like last summer. So I was just desperate. So, anyways, I never really said he would score 20. I said he can score. Maybe he can score like 10 goals, maybe. But in his whole career, he only scored 10 plus goals as a striker once. He's injury prone. He seems like he doesn't have the best work ethic. Like he seems like pretty like intelligent, calm, cool, and collected. And I don't think he's like really a problem in the locker room. But I just have a feeling. I get the sense that he's just kind of lazy because he makes pretty bad like decisions, like kind of lazy decisions when he plays sometimes. And we don't need that. We need like ruthless players because after what I saw this season in those derbies, man. I want to see players that go out and like with their heart and soul, man. Like we don't need guys like this. He's in his prime and he's showing that he's not a good player. Like he's not a top player. So get rid of him. I'd rather have young players. Like honestly, the whole thing. So for me, I agree with. I don't disagree with the project that Redbird's doing with like their player scouting and recruitment. The budget is a problem for me because even good young players cost money. And I love all the players that we're being linked with right now, like more so than the players we were linked with last summer. But the problem is we're not actually able to get any of these players yet. So that's my concern. So I would much rather get some young players, bring them in, develop them, than get than keep Origi. I don't think he's going to improve at all. I mean, nothing is showing signs of that. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the rig experiment failed. I wouldn't try again. I would cash in and try a different route. Charles Pez says, "Hey Roy, now that the season is over, can you guys do an analysis of CDK on how that operation failed so miserably?" Okay, listen, I'm not going to spend too much on this, but I will say this, that yes, last season the operation failed miserably because he did not contribute anything to the team. Absolutely anything. Sorry, there's a lot of noise. He didn't contribute nothing. Actually, guys, check this out. I've said this before, but Tatarusano, our second goalkeeper, had the exact same offensive output as CDK. Both of them have 1 assist to their name. So that's how bad CDK flopped this season. But guys, going back to what we spoke about earlier, some players, they don't hit the ground running right away. You have to wait. De Bruyne is one of those guys. As I said, Zaccagni. Let's see. Because in the future, Maldini might look like a genius in the future if CDK starts to actually perform and bring you big numbers. In Belgium, the season prior to when we bought him, the kid CDK, he scored 14 goals and 9 assists. Okay, those are good numbers for a false 9, someone that is not really a striker. If he can get to that level in the Serie A or in one of the bigger leagues, then in the future you could say that the operation was worth it. But of course, right now, you have to say it's a flop.
I would love to make a tactical analysis video about this.
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
All right.
You think he was played out of position, right? Just to touch on that.
Yeah, I think, first of all, it was a complete I don't want to say not mis-scouted player, but I guess we didn't really interpret him correctly. They were playing a very different system at Club Brugge, and I think Pioli did like De Ketelaere. It's still confusing about who wanted him. I think it was more of the management, to be honest, that wanted him, but I think Pioli was like interested in him too. and he thought he could just plug him in perfectly to the number 10 that what Pioli does, but he doesn't have. I mean, first of all, he had to adapt. He didn't have sort of like that killer instinct. And for me, the biggest thing for him, which is really unfortunate, is the confidence. Which I know people are going to be like, "Well, could it just be that he's not that good of a player?" Yeah, maybe he's not that good, like we thought he was going to be. But if you look back at the beginning of the season when he would come on, he would at least look more of like an actual player, and he would get involved more in the preseason friendlies, of course, but also in the first few games. He got his only assist, I think, pretty early on in the season. He looked better, at least, like he looked promising. But then slowly it just kept turning into nothing and nothing and nothing. And then all the fans started getting concerned. He became a meme. And then he just basically got regressed as the season went on, which is not good.
Yeah, you could literally see his deflation, right? You could literally see him. He came in, he did have confidence, he did have hope, optimism. He played with optimism, but you could literally see like play after play. Every time he failed to play, you could see the player always deflate a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, to the point where he completely become a deflated like a deflated football, essentially. Besiktas wants Rebic and Origi. Yes, please have them, but pay us, because we need the money. Skynet needs the money. Khalid says, guys, I've been asking myself a question ever since the beginning of last season. While both players flopped, how did Milan go with Origi ahead of Belotti? Yeah, of course, if you look at Belotti's season, he flopped maybe a little bit, maybe more or less the same as Origi. It looks like, in hindsight, both of these players wouldn't have been the right decision. I do think that Belotti maybe would have done better at Milan, because Belotti is more of a better replacement for Giroud, since Belotti is more of a poacher, more of a goal scorer. But they both flop, so it's hard to really analyze.
Listen, Belotti's a Milan fan, but besides that, he can stay away from Milan. Like I've never liked that guy. I'm sorry. You can call me anti-Italian all you want. I just don't. I think he's not a good player. It's no quality. He's hard work and he runs, and that's all he does.
Well, he's probably never going to be joining Milan at this point anyway. Isham says, if only his girlfriend could be on the field with him so she can tell him how to play. CDK, man. Damn, the guy got abused this year, huh? Wow.
Should we play it?
The CDK?
No.
Okay. All right. Guys, we are doing calls the last 30 minutes of the show. So be ready for that. If you have anything you want to share about the current mercato, make sure you have your statements and whatever you would need to take off of your chest, get it out of your chest. Make sure to be ready for that. We are taking calls the last 30 minutes of the show. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at this player here. So yesterday there was a very interesting report about this player. I've barely seen this player, by the way. Like, I saw him with Lazio a few times. I really can't say anything about him. We're probably going to do an analysis on him today, but let's see what this says first. Another new target has emerged in AC Milan's mission to reinforce the attacking department with young talent, a report claims. According to a report from Gianluca Di Marzio, a journalist that is pretty well known for his good journalism, Milan are interested in signing Luca Romero, an 18-year-old Argentine forward whose contract with Lazio is about to expire, was also liked by some Spanish clubs. Romero was born in Mexico and with dual Argentine and Spanish passports. Okay, so he would be basically a EU player. Okay, and he arrived at Lazio on a free transfer from Real Mallorca. Last season, he scored a goal in 12 appearances under Maurizio Sarri, but did not get much playing time. The teenager can play either as a right winger or a playmaker, and he represented his country at the U20 World Cup with Argentina, coached by Javier Mascherano, when he scored 2 goals in 4 appearances. Not bad. The player has already been called up by Scaloni, for the senior national team. He came through Mallorca's youth team and made his first team debut in La Liga age 15 years and 219 days, becoming the youngest player to play in a top 5 European league. Wait, how come nobody? How come I never heard of this guy? Like, what? These are crazy accolades.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised you've never heard of him, Roy. To be honest with
I
you,
mean,
like,
I've seen him come. I've seen him play with Lazio, and I was surprised that they were playing such a young player. Obviously, when I saw him, okay, like I saw, I remember now. It's coming to me. I do remember he had some talent, but I do also
hey,
remember it being pretty shadowed by the big guys
let
in
me just
Serie A.
say this: he's considered to be like one of the best young players in the world. In the U20 World Cup for Argentina, he scored like a wonder goal from like he dribbled in the middle and then blasted it from outside, like from well outside the box. Um, really good technical ability. He's like basically like one of those traditional cams. He's like left-footed. He's like a cam right, maybe mid attacking midfielder, but this guy, he's like I think he's the real deal. But then again, he has to actually like manifest it in like a top league. But when Lazio signed him, I don't know. I was really surprised they signed him. Like I don't know how they signed him. But yeah, he was like he's got a lot of hype. He's kind of like I would say that right now Arda Güler has more hype than him. But like when he was Arda Güler's age, well, he's like maybe 1 year older than Arda Güler. He had like pretty much the same hype as Arda Güler for like his sort of like profile. So I think he at least people say he's a top talent. I can see the potential.
Okay, so I'm just checking his highlights right now. I'm gonna see what these highlights are because I don't know if we want to post them. Yesterday, when we post German highlights, our videos get blocked. So that's what happened with the stream yesterday. Um, but this should be Serie A.
Which German player was on yesterday?
Turam.
Oh, right. Dang.
Mm-mm. Okay, I think this should be fine. Hey, Antonio, can you share this? Are you on your computer? Can you share this?
Yeah. Which is there a link that you put?
Yeah, let me give you the link. So let's do a deep dive. Now, listen, one of the reports I saw yesterday was that this signing might be imminent. Did you see that?
Yeah, because Fabrizio Romano he tweeted it. He didn't say that it was going to be a done deal, but he said that Milan were, um, you know, like other clubs are interested, but Milan are now are the most advanced. But the thing is, my concern is first of all he's free, right, which is really nice. I think the big problem with this is he was just at Lazio in the Serie A where he barely was ever given a like playing time in normal league games. So the question is if we get him, he's going to want to go somewhere where he's going to play. And for me, I would be down. I mean, the thing is, I know we're Milan and we have really high expectations, but I would like this guy. He could be worth it. And at this point, for what we can do, like give him a chance. Like I'm not saying start every single game, but I think he can definitely be like a key rotation player for us. So I think he just as long as he gets playing time, he'll want to come with us, no problem. But with Lazio, he wasn't playing at all.
Yeah, well, listen, this is the perfect Moneyball player. He's 18. He's already got experience in Serie A. He's free. It doesn't cost much. Obviously, he's not going to be asking for crazy wages. Literally, this is the perfect identikit profile Moneyball player that you want to bring in. Luigi Timpano, good friend of the channel, says, "Hi guys, what do you think of Arda Güler? We must buy him. He has 18 million clubs." Luigi Timpano, we've been talking about Arda Güler for the past days. We need to get him. I've said this before. Buying Arda Güler today is like buying Bitcoin 10 years ago. That is the analogy. This kid Arda Güler is a true thing. He is a real deal. 17 million clause. It's fantastic. Now, I made a prediction. Arda Güler is going to go to Dortmund. He's going to be there for 3 years, and then he's going to be sold to Madrid for 150 million. But since AC Cardinale, Skynet, wants to make Milan into the new Dortmund, Why doesn't he come to us instead? Because we are a better version of Dortmund, right?
Roy, hey Roy, check this guy. I want to see your opinion on this guy.
Get Luca Romero and Arda Güler, young top G's.
Yeah, let's do it. Hans says breaking news in the chat.
Breaking news. Hans the Scout Erdman. Okay, so listen, first thing I'm going to say is this. I do like the way he holds the ball. Now, these highlights here are not showcasing his best moments. For some reason, these highlights are showcasing every time he falls. Like, who, like, what the fuck? But am I as impressed as I am when I saw Arda Güler? No.
Well, yeah, but give it a chance, though. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Am I as impressed as when I saw the guy from the MLS? No. Yeah, Luigi, I'm telling you, Arda Güler is the Vice Verasquilla of this summer mercato. Like there was Vice Verasquilla last season and Milan slept on him. This mercato, that same player is Arda Güler. We should get him. We have to get him. Okay, you can take these highlights down. You can. I've already made up my mind about him. Okay, so this player I think has potential, but still a lot of road in front of him before he can become a player that actually has an impact. A lot of work he needs. He definitely has the qualities to become a top G, from what I'm seeing, because his movements are very good. He is his dribbling is nice, and guys, and again, I'm talking about an 18-year-old, but I'm also noticing, based on his movements and based on the way he operates, it's going to take a few more years before he can actually have a serious impact. Would I get him? Yes. Why not? Yes. I mean, this is the new we are Skynet now, so we go look for the John Connors of the world, and that's what we do. So yeah, let's get him on a free. Let's try see what he does. If he doesn't work out, send him out on loan for a few years, then bring him back when he's matured, and we might have a top G in our team. If he's already shown good qualities in the U20 World Cup, that says a lot. And another thing, if Scaloni, the first coach of Argentina, has already called him up, that says a lot. So yeah, I'm all in favor of this operation, but my prediction is that he comes to Milan, you send him out on loan, he's not going to have any impact in the team the first season. That's my analysis on him. Kvara is Almada, CDK captain for Belgium. So what was your impression of the player?
Romero, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Listen, those were terrible highlights. Thank you for that channel for posting the highlights, but I've seen him do a lot better. I don't know if that's the most up-to-date video, but I liked what I saw from him in the U20 World Cup for Argentina. And I think he has really good technical ability. So I like him.
Yeah, no, I'm saying let's get this guy. Let's see if he can have an immediate impact. It's just my opinion. It's just a prediction I'm making that he's probably, if we do get him, they're probably going to send him out on loan. But I do think there's a lot of potential there, and he could become one of the best players in the future if he's already starting this young and doing these things at this age. The youngest player ever to start in the top 5 leagues of Europe. These accolades usually mean something. Not always, but usually they do. Let's get him. Maybe he's going to be super right away, because he is going to be 19 now. So 19 is basically when we got Leao. But yeah, I say get him. And if there's a sense that he won't contribute much, then send him out on loan for 1 year, 2 years, and then bring him back. And then when he's ready to kick ass, let him kick ass. Let him cook. Hans Erdmann, the scout, who, by the way, he told me that he sent Skynet an email regarding this player, Luca Romero. Hans says, we are now heavily linked to a young Italian striker that has scored 19 goals with 8 assists this season. And who is this player? Give us the name, sir.
Is Inter really going to get booty cheeks?
Yeah, I did see. Well, it is one of the players that we're looking to replace. Their midfield. Yeah, I did see that. Luigi says, I don't think Romero is suited for Serie A. I would say, let's see, because he's still so young. Let's see how he develops. That's the only thing you can tell so far. Obviously, he hasn't hit the ground running with Lazio, but let's see how he develops. Romero could be good, but it come back to how the coach uses him. I can see him playing on the right. True. By the way, guys, speaking of the right, little parentheses. Yesterday, the reports saying that Milan made its first attack on trying to get Chukwueze. No information yet today, but it looks like Milan have put on the plate 15 million to get Chukwueze. Let's see if that happens. Let's see what Villarreal says. Villarreal says they want 30 million. Let's see how Milan will negotiate this deal, or if we will go for Chukwueze. We will find out. So no reports on that just yet. But speaking of the right wing, that's where we're at with the right wing. Hans gatekeeping. Come on, Hans. Give us this name, bruh. What are you doing, man? Give us the name.
It's booty cheese.
Look at Hans, man. He comes here, gives us the information, but no name. No name. Okay. Before going into the other players that we're going to be discussing, let's look at this one here, Gazzetta dello Sport. These are 3 players that we spoke about yesterday. All 3 players that I think all of us agree would improve the quality of AC Milan. Here we go. Jeffrey Moncada and Giorgio Furigliani, aka Skynet, are aiming to improve the AC Milan squad away from the spotlight with phone calls, negotiations, inquiries, and meetings, a report claims. A report from La Gazzetta dello Sport writes that the new management formed by the chief scout and the CEO have been at work for a week with a notebook in hand. List of names ready. Some already crossed out and others circled. Yeah, okay. Right wing. The reports adds now on Tuesday, after a meeting was held with agents, Samuel Chukwueze of Villarreal, winger who scored 30 goals last season. Yes, so this is a good player, right? We agree that this would be a good player for Milan, right? Now, listen, my opinion, if he comes to Milan, we're not going to have the best right winger in the league, okay? Okay?
Well, Roy, to that point, though, how many top right wingers are there? I mean, Chiesa, I guess, can play both left and right. We'll see how he does next season now that he's recovered from his injury a bit more. Berardi, who I don't really rate him that highly.
I mean, there is no way this guy is going to get anywhere close to Berardi's numbers. Zero chance.
Well, Berardi takes penalties too. But
okay, but Berardi, aside from the penalties, he also gets double digits in assists. There's zero chance that this guy's getting
zero. All right, I'm gonna stick my neck out. There's not a 0% chance. For me, if I had to predict his stats, I would say 15 goal contributions in the league.
Difficult.
Goals and assists. I think he can do it.
I think a more, let's say, conservative approach would be somewhere around 10, maybe somewhere around that region.
Keep in mind that Messias had 7 goal contributions.
7 goal contributions in a similar amount of ratio of games. Now, Chukwueze, remember, played 37 games. The biggest upside of Chukwueze that I've seen, aside from he's a very skillful player, I'm not denying that, is the guy never fucking got injured once. The man played 37 games. He played the whole damn season. This guy did not miss one game. He's like Kessie, basically, made out of titanium, perfect immune system. So that is that's one thing that I'm happy about. Like we got a lot of players with these injury histories. But as far as I know, I don't know what his season prior to last season, but last season Chukwueze had 0 injuries. He was available from day 1 till the last day of the season. That has to be super positive. At least that. But I do think that a player like this is going to take a little bit more time to adapt to Italy. Yeah. I think, in my opinion, a 10-goal contribution. You say 15, I say 10. Moncada met the player's entourage at Casa Milan for a couple of hours, but I also going to say this: he might flop too. Okay, I'm also going to say this, but
Okay.
I don't think his first season he's going to.
Well, listen,
hit
if
the ground running.
CDK can flop this hard, anything's possible. So there you go.
Any player can flop. The only player that I think would not flop if he comes to Milan is Taremi. That is the only player that so far I'm seeing that is in the realistic possibilities of joining Milan is Taremi. Because of his age, because of his experience, I don't think Taremi is going to have any problem adapting to Serie A and adapting to Milan. But when you're 24, 23, you have to put that in consideration. You do have to put that in consideration. But anyway, I am for this signing. I think this would definitely is an improvement to Messias and would bring more upside to Messias for sure. Moncada met the player's entourage at Casa Milan for a couple of hours. It was a cognitive meeting where they talked about the player and strategies, with more updates to come and an asking price of around 20 million. Now, yesterday we saw 30 million. Christian Pulisic is another target for the wing. Forget Christian Pulisic, guys. I do not want Captain America. I don't even want to talk about him. Yeah, guys, I'm totally not for this this signing. I don't know what Christian Pulisic can bring to AC Milan.
You don't like Captain America?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am definitely not for the Captain America signing.
It's called soccer.
It's called soccer. Guys, this news makes me so happy, guys. Look at this. I hope you didn't make this up. Anto Vitello, Milan interested in Arda Güler, who has a 17 million release clause this summer. Many European clubs are following the player. Guys,
I'm checking that right now just to make sure Vitello said it. Yeah.
Since we are the new Dortmund, why not get him? We are a better version of Dortmund. We are a Dortmund that can offer more. Let's get this guy right away.
Yeah, this guy is legit. He posted it. It just like 5 seconds ago. It just came out. Vitello just said, tra i tanti profili che sta seguendo il Milan sul mercato in questo periodo, c'è anche Arda Güler del Fenerbahce, talento di 18 anni, richiestissimo in Europa. So he's just saying that we're linked with him. You know, it's not like nothing really, no major updates on this, but it'd be nice to get him. I doubt it though. 17 million for it, with our budget of 30, that means over half the budget is.
It is terrible. A steal, guys. It is a steal.
It is. I mean, I would do it, but like I don't think they're gonna do it.
It's like buying Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $1.
Watch us lowball. Watch us be like, hey, I'll offer you 5 million for him.
And this is the thing, guys. Like, and I know I'm gonna say this, and it might upset a few people, but Milan, the club didn't say that we're building a club to win trophies. We're building a club to win the Champions League. The club pretty much saying, hey, we're going to become the new Dortmund for the next few years. So this is perfect for Arda Güler. Arda Güler is not going to go to a club right now that is trying to win the Champions League. Like, it doesn't make sense for him, by the way. What makes sense for him is go to a club that is more on the level of a Dortmund. Milan is a better version of that. And then see how he develops. And then sell him for 150 million in a few years. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get this kid. And then maybe if we turn out to be better than that, a team that actually competes for the Champions League and the Serie A, then let's keep him. But come on, guys. Like, what are we waiting for? What are we doing here? Jerry, if your freaking Skynet algorithms right now are not going, nuclear alert, then, bruh, you need to close up shop. You need to close up shop, and you cannot be taken seriously. This is literally the Vice Verasquilla of this market. He's right here, 17 million. It's never going to happen again. Do it. Do it. Ernesto says, we're not getting Goulet. It's impossible to compete with PSG in many clubs, but only if he is a big fan of Milan. Well, again, what is going to convince him is the project, the wages. Obviously, he can't be asking for crazy wages. I don't think any team is going to give him crazy wages. But what is going to convince him is most likely the project, and I would say the parents are probably involved. So it's more of that. It's more of a logistic situation, the logistic processes that are going to convince him right now. So I think that Milan would be a great project for a 17-year-old that is trying to, make his way into the world of football in this moment. A 17-year-old with that talent. I'd do it right away. Our objective every season is top 4. That's the news say. No trophies. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Rest in peace. 100%, my man. 100%. Okay, so yeah, Antonio, we agree that Chukwueze would definitely be an improvement. Let's look at the playmaker role. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I said, heck yeah, he would. I mean, he's an actual inverted right winger that's attacking minded, and he would. It's not like anything we have right now. I'm not asking us to bring in Messi. I'm asking us to bring in a proper right winger. Messias is kind of like that, but he's just not. I like Messias, and his finishing is all right, but he's just not. His overall quality is not high enough for us. So we need to bring in someone else, and this guy is it.
Yeah. All right, playmaker. For the number 10 role, Daichi Kamada is now one step away from the Rossoneri. He has amassed 40 goals in the last 4 years, with 28 appearances and 6 goals for the Japanese national team. He will arrive on a free. The latest idea for the playmaker position leads to the United States, and more specifically to Thiago Almada, a recent world champion of Argentina. He has 7 goals and 8 assists already this season in 16 appearances. Then you have Tommaso Baldanzi, a protagonist with the Italy U20s at the World Cup recently, is also on the list. Half of Italy are keen on the Empoli talent, who is a self-proclaimed Milan fan. Tough one here. Now, of course, Daichi Kamada is on a free, so that's the easiest one to get. Also, as we know, Daichi Kamada has already said yes to Milan, according to the reports. According to the reports, Daichi Kamada has said no to Liverpool, no to Atletico Madrid, no to Borussia Dortmund. He said yes to Milan when Maldini called him. I don't know if there's a difference now, if anything has changed. We haven't read anything about it. Apparently, the only reason why Daichi Kamada is not an AC Milan player right now is because his agents have never operated in Italy before. And in order to do that, you have to get some permits. So you have to go through some bureaucracy. And it takes a few weeks. That's what they said. And that is why Daichi Kamada so far has not yet signed ink on paper. So the other player here is Thiago Almada. And then, Antonio, I want to hear what you think of all three. Then Thiago Almada is another interesting player we saw yesterday. This guy's got a wicked shot. If I were to make a rating of his shooting, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. Definitely better than Baldanzi, definitely better than Daichi Kamada. Better than any player.
Wait. So Thiago Almada is the top for you?
No. Thiago Almada is the best shot, I'm saying.
Okay.
Thiago Almada has the best shooting ability out of any of these players, but Thiago Almada has the best shooting ability out of any players that we have at AC Milan, including Theo Hernandez, who is the only player that scores from outside the box. So Thiago Almada is a very interesting player. 8 assists, 7 goals. Already a World Cup winner, already in the Selección. So, not the Selección. Yeah, the Selección. So, already a player that he's basically one of the future top talents of Argentina. He's in the category of Enzo Fernandez. He's in the category of Alvarez. He's basically the new crop of Argentinian players that are going to be, running the show for Argentina. Very interesting player. Maybe I would say the most interesting one here. Now, the only problem with Almada is that he plays in the MLS. The MLS is a league that it's very difficult to understand at what level you are. For example, we saw how Giovinco performed in Italy. He was good. Giovinco was good in Italy. Don't get me wrong. He had a lot of great moments. But when Giovinco went to the MLS, he broke every single record there is. He won everything, broke every single record. He run through defenders like a hot knife through butter. So that's the thing that you have to pay attention to when it comes to the MLS. Then when you have Tommaso Baldanzi, Super World U20 World Cup, future of the national team, definitely one of Italy's best upcoming talents. Very intelligent player, knows how to play that tiki-taka game, and also has a good snout for goal. So Baldanzi, in my opinion, like Pirlo, like Modric, today is playing as a number 10. I think Baldanzi, like these two players, one day is going to be put a little bit behind in the midfield and play more as a regular midfielder. Very interesting talents. I think out of all three of these, maybe Almada is the one I'm the most curious about. And then Baldanzi for the future. Daichi Kamada, the upside of Daichi Kamada, he's already played in the German league at high levels, already Champions League experience, national team experience, but so does Almada with the national team. Hard to pick one, to be honest with you. Hard to pick one out of these. What about you, Antonio? Why don't you give us your analysis on these three players?
Listen, I agree. When you watch Almada's highlights, he looks to be like incredible. Like he scores distance goals, good dribbler. I was doing research about him because, you know, with the MLS thing, I'm always super skeptical about USA and MLS. I live here, but you know, I'm kind of sus about it. I was like, this guy, if this guy is really good, then because he's already 22 years old, I believe. So if he was that good that we should sign him, he has to at least be leading the league in you know, his performances. So you know, I looked and he's leading the league in assists, and I think he has 7 goals. Not a top scorer, but he in 16 games, I think he has 16 goal contributions. So he's definitely one of the best players in the league in the MLS at 22 from Argentina. I think he was on their national team squad. So I don't know if he's a World Cup winner. I think that's what I heard. I would do it. I think you know you never know if they're going to adapt to Italy, but he definitely has really good potential. I also love Baldanzi. The thing about Baldanzi though, is that this year he had 4 goals, 0 assists. Those were his stats for Empoli. So not the best stats. Kamada, I thought he was a done deal. I haven't heard about him in a little while, so hopefully we close soon. I think I heard that we're still going to close. We're waiting for his agents, I think, to like get their stuff settled. You know, so I like Kamada. I don't know how good he's going to be. I mean, I agree that based on just the highlights, Almada looks to be the best player, but I still want to see who can adapt to Italy first because Kamada is already in his prime, and if he doesn't do well in Italy, then he's not really going to have a lot of time to. I mean, he'll have a few seasons maybe to improve, but we need someone who can come in and make a good impact. So, or at least has potential to grow as a player. So that's why I like the younger names more, but I think Kamada is pretty much a done deal. So for the playmaker role, like I think we have our name. Unless we sign multiple players in that case.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. This sounds a little bit harsh, but out of these 3 players, Kamada is the less interesting one. Even though we discussed the upsides. I think that both these players, Tommaso Baldanzi and Almada, are basically the future of 2 very important national teams and 2 very important, you know, basically, if you're going to be one of the best Argentinian players, you know, that says a lot. If you're going to be one of the best Italian players, that says a lot. I think it's a mistake to miss out on these potential players like Baldanzi and Almada. I'd be happy to see Baldanzi come to Milan, obviously, because I would like to have an Italian core at Milan. I think the domestic cores are important in any league. Um, Unfortunately, I'm going to say this. Out of all three of them, the one that is the least interesting to me is Kamada. But Kamada, one thing about Kamada that is very interesting is that he looks exactly like a Çalhanoğlu the way he plays. So this is a perfect sign-in for Pioli and how he envisions his cam. So yeah, there it goes. Guys, look at this. Breaking news. AC Milan sporting director Guido has earlier held a meeting with Sampdoria to discuss deal for Aguello. Sampdoria reps are reportedly confused on why he was such a shit player.
Augello.
We're willing to exchange Theo Hernandez and Benacer because they only have 1 foot for Augello.
Augello's a top player, though. Respect Augello.
Roy and Antonio, do you guys know Yunus Musa, the 19-year-old starting midfielder for the USA national team? Yes, I've heard of him, and I've heard a lot of good things about him.
He plays in Spain, correct?
Yeah. Breaking news. Pioli ha telefonato a Thuram per dargli garanzie tecniche. Ora il Milan spera nel sì del francese. This is terrible business. So basically what this is saying that Pioli has called Thuram to give him technical guarantees, meaning, hey, if you come to Milan, even if you're shit, you're going to be starting all the time. Okay, please join us. Please join us. Please. I'll give you all the money in the world. No, guys, this is not the way we should be doing business. How does Moneyball play into all of this? This makes no sense. So are we breaking the rules here now? Are we breaking the Skynet rules here? What's going on? How are we giving Marcus Thuram all of this money when he literally has not done anything to deserve that kind of money? So essentially, if Marcus Thuram comes to Milan, what will he be fighting for? Because it's the only contract that we'll be able to give him. There's no other contract that we can give him. It's basically the maximum contract. So what is he? He's coming on holiday. There's no, you sell him. You just sell him after that. What are we doing here with this Thuram deal, guys? If Thuram comes, you cannot give him 7 million, 6 million. You have to give him something like 3.5 million or 4 million, and then try and increase it to 5.5 million when the time comes. But you have to give these guys something to fight for. What has Thuram done to earn the highest earning contract at AC Milan? Nothing. He's not. What trophies has this guy won? Last year, he scored barely any goals. The year before, he scored even less. This year, he had a decent season with a 19-goal contribution. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Okay, here it is, the name. Padre Pioli has been in advanced talks to bring him back. Oh, wait. In a sensational turn of events, Fabio Borini from Fatih Karagümrük is now in advanced talks to return to Milan. The man with the Milanello agility record has been on Billy Bain's radar for months. It is true, man. This guy has crazy numbers in the Turkish league. Absolutely crazy numbers. Luigi Timpano says, Thuram is trash. Come on. He's like a younger Origi. Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm not 100% against the Thuram signing. I think there are better strikers than him. Many better strikers than him. Again, Taremi for me is the best choice we can get for the reasons I said earlier. But given Thuram the highest contract in the team, is Pioli this desperate? And again, where the fuck is Billy Bean and his Moneyball? Like, this is the algorithm? Makes no sense to me, Antonio. This makes no sense to me. I don't know. Asen says Thuram is using Milan to get more money from PSG. Very interesting. Could be. The last thing we heard about Thuram is that he's not replying his messages anymore, and he's not answering the calls. He's kind of leaving everybody in suspense. Okay, let's move on to another player that is linked to AC Milan. Where is he? Where is he? Italian player, currently plays in Leeds right now. He is with the Italian national team, and he will also be doing. Oh, wait. No. We weren't done there. We were not done. Hold the phone. We were not finished. We just spoke about the playmakers. We have to go to the strikers. Okay, looking for the striker position, Marco Thuram. We spoke about him. Okay, Marcus Thuram remained the number one target. He is choosing between the RossonARI, who have offered less but can guarantee a starting spot, and PSG, with things stalled at the moment. Oliver Giroud deputy could be Mehdi Taremi. Bruh, if Mehdi Taremi comes, it's the opposite. Giroud is going to be the deputy to Mehdi Taremi. The Iranian from Porto, who has scored 80 goals in the last 3 years. He's prolific, but is approaching 31 years old, making him one of the names near the end of the list. That is so disappointing. So disappointing. Very disappointing to hear that. Okay, let's talk about Wilfred Gnonto. Another interesting player who has said that he is Interista. He comes from the Inter Academy, currently in the national team. He is going to be playing tonight, maybe from the bench. He's also doing double duty. He's going to be in the U21 World Euro, which I'm very happy about because we're going to see a lot of him, and we're going to see him as a main actor. So I'm very happy about that. I'm looking forward to see how Gnonto does. Gnonto, another player that is very young, teenager, that has already broken through into the football of the adults. Very good talent. I saw him play in England a few games because I was very curious to see him, and he looked very good, scored some very nice goals. Of course, Leeds is not a team that can offer him much, but it is a very good experience for a player like Gnonto to learn in a club like Leeds, so at his age. So this, let's get into the report. AC Milan have made an inquiry over the possibility of signing Wilfred Gnonto from Leeds United, according to a report. According to a report, calciomercato.com, the possibility of returning to Italy is heating up for Gnonto, especially after Leeds' relegation to the Championship from the Premier League in 2022-2023. Monza tried to bring him back to Italy before Leeds managed to sign him from Zurich for 4.5 million, with a contract running until June 2027. This season, he amassed 20 appearances for England, scoring 4 goals and as many assists.
Hey, Roy.
Yes.
Whenever you're ready, I can tell you the formations for Italy, Spain.
Okay, yeah. We'll get into that in a second. After they were relegated, Gnonto wants to leave West Yorkshire. Milan and Fiorentina have carried out the first exploratory inquiries, and the response was that the 90-year-old has a 20 million asking price. Guys, look at this. From 4.5 million to 20 million in the course of the season. This is why I am saying get Arda Güler today. Damn it. In one season, this guy just scored 4 goals, 8 assists, but because he's 18, from one season, his price went up, 400%? That's insane. So imagine Arda Güler's price. Imagine what the situation with him. Anyway, it's a figure considered excessive by both Italian clubs, and under these conditions, they're not willing to enter into negotiation. However, with a lower asking price or a possible loan formula, their interest could become more concrete. Gnonto is one of the few players who have played for Italy without having played in Serie A, and he is currently away with the under-21 national team in Tirrenia in view of the European Championship from 21 June to 8th of July in Georgia and Romania. I like Gnonto, very skillful player, very, very interesting prospect. We kind of missed the boat. We could have signed him for 4.5 when we had the chance. I mean, we had so many flops last year. Having a Gnonto in the team last year wouldn't have hurt one bit. He is an interesting player. Is he going to be joining Milan? I don't know. I don't think so. But he is definitely an interesting player that I like, that I think is going to have a very bright future. What about you, Antonio? What is your opinion on Gnonto?
Let's get this guy in right now. Top winger, Italian. He's an Inter fan though, so that's kind of weird. But I don't know. I think he can play both left and right, but he's mainly on the left, so I don't really know where to play him. But he's talented, so I'd get him for sure.
There you go, guys. Easy said and done. Again, since we are, a Moneyball team, this operation does make sense, and he would be a good player. Let me say thank you to Alexander for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Alexander. And he says, "Thank for your passion and creating so much content, guys. Guys, the pleasure's ours. Talking about AC Milan is easy to do, guys. It's easy to do because, like everybody else in this chat that is hearing us, that is participating in these lives with us, we all love AC Milan, and it is a passion for us. We can't live without knowing what this club does every day." Breaking news. Understand Milan have pulled out of the race for 19-year-old Gnonto because Ernesto88 thinks he's too short. Fabrizio Romano is in the chat, guys. Bruh, why waste a single breath on Gnonto? He twerks for Inter more than Mbappe twerks for AC Milan. I do like the fact that Mbappe twerks for AC Milan. I'll give you that. But let's see. Just because they're Inter fans doesn't mean that they're going to be joining Inter or whoever. Okay, let's see. We have a few more reports to go to before we move on to the national team and the calls. Guys, remember, we are opening up the lines today. We are going to do calls today. The last 30 minutes of the show is going to be dedicated to calls. So, Antonio, give us the lineup.
Okie dokie. All right. Spain is playing a 4-2-3-1. Unai Simon, Jesus Navas, Lenormand. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with that player. Laporte and Jordi Alba, the back four. Midfield, Rodri, Merino, Rodrigo, and Gavi, and then Yeremi. And striker Alvaro Morata.
Okay, before we go to the Italy formation, what do you make out of that formation?
I don't know. Listen, I don't really follow much of La Liga. I wonder if Pedri is either injured or like what happened with Pedri. I don't know why he's not starting. Gavi's starting. They have a good midfield. I'm a bit unfamiliar with some of their players, to be honest. Like a few of them, but it seems pretty
me too.
Well.
Me too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I'm not too I'm kind of questioning it.
Okay, let's go to Italy.
Italy is even more strange, in my opinion. 3-5-2, Donnarumma,
Okay.
Toloi, Bonucci, and Acerbi.
Okay.
Di Lorenzo, Barella, Jorginho, Frattesi, Spinazzola.
That's good.
And Immobile and Zaniolo.
Wow, what a formation.
I don't like it, to be honest. But listen, if we kill with it,
I mean, those are all really good players, though. I mean, they're all really, really good players. All of them are in form right now. Maybe Bonucci a little bit less, but Acerbi is definitely on form. Toloi is on form. That whole midfield line is very good. Very, very good. The top Immobile is on form, Zaniolo is on form, so it looks pretty good to me. Whether or not they perform, let's see. Why don't you like it?
No, I'm just like the 3-5-2 kind of threw me off.
Yeah, he's been playing that 3 at the back for a while now. He has been doing that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you like Toloi? Do you rate him?
Well, Bastoni, he had a fever, so that's why he's not in the first team. The other player could have been Romagnoli. Toloi, he was part of the European expedition that won the 2020 Euros. He had good performances. He's been doing well in Atalanta. He is a player that is quite strong defensively. So yeah, I think he's a good player. Yeah.
Mancini is kind of sus, like not sus, but like he's just like he definitely has his favorites. Like he always like the fact that Toloi plays and like Tonali doesn't even get called to the national team means that it's not really based on form, in my opinion. It's just based on who he likes.
Well, today, like the form, there's I don't see any
My
issues
point is
there.
that Tonali should be getting in. Tonali should at least be in the team. Like,
Well, Tonali has been he's been given responsibility to lead the U21 Euro, so that's why he's not in the team right now. It's not that they decided that Tonali is not good enough. Obviously, Tonali is, but because Tonali is still of age, and because Italy really considers the 21 Euros important, Italy is the team that is Italy and Spain. I mean, up until a few years ago, Italy was a team that won the most Euro 21s. Then Spain caught up. So it is a tournament that Italy considers in high regard. So I'm not surprised that they send some of their best players to the U21 Euros. Tonali is going to be a great experience for him. Yeah, that's why he's not there. That's why he's not there.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's always the same. Like, there's always that backbone of players that are always playing for.
Now, one thing that definitely has happened is that Locatelli has lost his spot to Frattesi. Locatelli has lost his spot to Frattesi. And Verratti, I don't know why Verratti is not playing, because it should be Verratti there instead of Frattesi. So maybe there's something going on with Verratti there. But one thing that definitely has happened is that Locatelli has lost his spot to Frattesi. Up top, everybody is fit.
Let's see
Chiesa is
how
fit.
Frattesi does today. By the way, I want to see. It's gonna be
Yeah. Up top, everybody's fit. Chiesa is fit. Zaniolo is fit. Arretegu is fit.
That is gonna
Immobile
be
is fit.
one hell of a midfield battle today.
Raspadori is fit. Actually, you know what? One thing maybe I would criticize Mancini is that he has all these fit strikers, but he's using a formation that only can hold two strikers. So maybe he should probably a 4-3-3 probably would have been better. Probably would have been better because he could be using Chiesa, Immobile, and Zaniolo.
I want to see Zaniolo and Frattesi today because honestly, I've never been. Well, Frattesi may be different. I've never really been too high on Zaniolo, and I'm just curious about Frattesi. I want to see if they step up today, if they do well.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out soon. We will definitely be finding out soon. Okay, let's go to a few more reports here. Let's see what we got. Anything interesting from the Twitter sphere, Antonio?
No. Did you see? Never mind. Twitter is just the usual buzz. I don't really see anything groundbreaking for Milan yet.
Okay, so in that case, guys,
chat.
Yeah, I see Wanda Nara is trying to court me. Sorry, Wanda Nara, but I have a woman already, so you can't have me. And also, I'm not in. And also, I'm not interested, Wanda. I'm not interested. Fix your teeth, Wanda. Fix your teeth.
Damn.
Listen, I want to talk about something. Which I want to also know the opinion on the chat. It was I can't find it right here. It was regarding the capacity of the stadium, so I have to look for that. Give me a second here.
Yeah, it's 60,000. It's 60,000.
Okay, here it is. Yeah. So what do we think about this? Repubblica. Milan advancing with plans to build 60,000 seat stadium in San Donato. After weeks without many updates, news is continuing to come out about AC Milan's plan to build a new stadium somewhere in the city. According to La Repubblica, Milan seem to have found the area on which to build their new stadium on their own, the San Francisco area in San Donato Milanese. They have even taken the first formal step with a pre-agreement signed. Guys, this is breaking news, guys. This is great. So now we finally have a location. We finally have a decision on the location. I'll say this one more time. I say this every single day. One of the only good things that Skynet is going to bring to AC Milan is the stadium. This stadium is going to allow us to finally get back to the same level as all the other big European clubs. The RossonARI owners have signed a preliminary deal regarding the transfer of urban planning permits with Sports Life City, the current owner of the area, which is certainly a concrete step towards building there. Another thing to be said is that we're building the stadium on our own. So this is going to be our own stadium. Come on, guys. This is a big win. I did not want to have another stadium with Inter. Let's have our own stadium. This is much better. However, the paper states that it will be 60,000 seat stadium surrounded by various attractions such as a new club, a museum, and probably a shop. It'll be 180,000 square meters as imposed by the territorial government plan. This means that there won't be room to move the Milanello Sports Center close to the stadium, something that was put forward with Lamara hypothesis, for example. That would have been pretty cool, actually, to have Milanello close to the stadium. That would have been pretty cool. As early as next, there could be other meetings between Milan and the Council of San Donato to take more steps forward. The mayor, Francesco Squerri, her words are certainly positive. The feeling for now is that Milan consider the San Francisco area very interesting. The moment, the procedure does not imply with certainty that the stadium will be built in San Donato. Milan has not yet decided, he said. We are in a preliminary phase. The club are yet to present the project to us. We're moving forward with the bureaucracy to understand if it is feasible. Only with the project in hand, we can then involve all the bodies in charge, from the metropolitan city to the state railways to the region to the Council of Milan. So you kind of get a glimpse of all the levels of bureaucracy that you have to go through in order to get this done. You have to go through the metropolitan city, the state railways, the region, so that compiles a whole different kind of aspects, to the Council of Milan. This is a glimpse into why things in Italy are so slow, because there's so many layers of bureaucracy. But 60,000, I think that's a little bit small. I mean, shit, we've been filling up the San Siro every single Sunday and Wednesday with 70,000 people. I don't know about 60,000. What do you think about the 60,000 number, Antonio?
Yeah, personally, I would love for it to be 70,000, 75,000. The thing is, they're trying to model after like these English stadiums that are much like smaller. Like I think most English stadiums are like between 50 and 60,000. Most of them probably like around 50,000. Like they're not that big. The San Siro is obviously very big. Because it's a sort of new modern idea for a stadium. Like I think Juventus' stadium is much smaller. I don't know what the Juventus capacity is. Yeah, I think it's sad because we have such a passionate fan base, and we usually can get 70,000. So I think 70,000 would be a really good number. But 60,000, I guess it's still larger than like most or many stadiums, I should say. I'm looking here. I want to see Juventus' stadium capacity.
Oh, it's small. It's 40. I think it's 40.
40.
Yeah. All right, guys, do me a favor. Make sure that you click that like button. We are going towards the final part of the stream. So we're going to open it up for calls. We're going to just whatever you want to talk about it. We'll do like about 3 minutes each, depending on how many people want to get in and say what they want to say. And then we're going to soon get ready for you said you're going to do a watch along, right?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right, perfect.
By the way, I just looked up the Camp Nou has a 99,000 capacity, and the Bernabeu is an 81,000 capacity, and San Siro has a 76,000 capacity.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go into actually, before we do that, since we still have 5 minutes, we are going to close at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, and then we'll use 15 minutes to set up the other stream for the watch along. So before we do that, last 5 minutes, Firmino. Firmino, a player that looks like he is, obviously he's leaving Liverpool. Would he be an interesting prospect for AC Milan? So Rock, who is Brazilian, he didn't like the idea of Firmino coming to Milan. I thought that was interesting. He thought that Firmino is past his age, past his, can't really give us his best. Firmino is now over 30, 32, I don't know, I think 32, 33, something like that. I don't know much. I was kind of baffled that he wasn't chosen in the Seleção, but I don't think Firmino would be a bad signing, to be honest with you. He's not my number one choice. What is your opinion on Firmino? Maybe you would know a little bit better about him.
It's tough because he is one of those guys who's really good technically, pretty decent at headers, although he's not the tallest player. But he is kind of like, I get the feeling with him is that he's sort of on that downward decline towards retirement. So for me, just because of that, like I don't think he's that ambitious and is gonna have the desire to like score a lot of goals like a top striker would. Personally, I don't think he's gonna be that prolific. I'm not sure he's the super prolific player. Um, for that reason, I don't want to get him. I'd much rather get players that have the upside potential to be, that are still growing than someone who's on this sort of decline. I guess Taremi would be different because he's still in his prime right now, so that's kind of what's sort of stopping me. But yeah, Firmino, he scored against Inter last year in the UCL. He is definitely is some good quality, but I don't think he's that prolific, to be honest.
Okay. All right. So it's a no for you. All right, guys, let's start the calls. We're going to go 30 minutes. The next half an hour is going to be dedicated to calls. So we're going to get your guys' voice. Let's see what you guys say. Let me just pin that before we get started. And yeah, you're welcome to come in, give us your thoughts on the Mercato, who you like, who you don't like, what you think we should do, etc., etc. Whatever you want to say and get off of your chest. So depending on how many people are going to join, we're going to kind of move on forward. But if there's not people joining in, you can stay as long as you want. All right. So let me just pin that. Give me a second. Just give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. Okay, first caller, DE bro, what's up?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Big fan of the channel. Big fan of the channel.
Thank you, brother. What do you want to talk about, bro? Get it off of your chest.
Man, I don't know where to start. Do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound good, bro.
Okay, so my biggest concern is the summer transfer market. We're like 2 weeks in. We haven't signed a single player. I know Kamada has like some not issues, but there's like some bureaucracy, like something with the Japanese and Federation, whatever. I know he's most likely coming to Milan. I think he's a good signing, but I'm very concerned over CDK and his future. Apparently, I'm hearing things about Pioli not having him in his future. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure if y'all heard about that. He's currently playing in the. Oh, you go first.
No. Yeah, there was a report saying that CDK is not in Pioli's plans for next season. Yeah.
I think that's a bad idea. And I'll tell you why. So.
All right, go ahead. Tell us.
First things first, CDK. I don't think he's a 10. I know we've been hyping him up as our 10, as Kaká. That's an issue of Milan fans as a whole. But in my opinion, I see him more as that way younger Firmino. If you've seen him at Belgium, he was more or less on the wings, covering. Like when Salah cuts inside or inverts, Firmino will cover his side of the pitch or link up play and score goals like that. If you watch Firmino, that's how good he is. CDK is just like that, but much, much younger, much younger. And so me seeing him play in the Belgium under-21 as the captain on the right wing, I think Pioli and the team should take notes of this. I think it's very important. I currently see a player at Milan for him, but to be honest with you, I think into this next season, Pioli be very looked at as Moncada is looking at very younger talents. You're seeing us linked to like that one free agent from Lazio. But I think CDK,
Romero.
Yeah, Romero. I think CDK has a future in Milan, and I think Pioli might have to switch the formation or something because this 10 is a very big gap. When you see Brahim play, he literally leaves a big hole in the midfield. And that killed us in the UCL. That killed us. When I was like, everyone wanted to blame Tonali for his mispositioning. But there was such a big hole in that midfield, and clearly Brahim was not that guy. So,
So you're big. Well, you do believe that CDK does have a future, and you think he can become a really valuable player for AC Milan. Yeah.
yeah, so 6'4". 6'4". I think right, 6'3", 6'4". He's much stronger. I've noticed even in the games against like Fiorentina, we were clearly losing. It was just a bad day for Milan. Not even just like individuals, it was like bad day. I remember that game specifically. He was just like, he has much better hold up play. For me, the closer he gets to goal, it's just a confident issue in my opinion. Because the amount of time I've seen him closer to goal when Purely would play, it was like a 4-2-3-1, but really it's kind of like a 4-4-2 sometimes where we build up our shape. And whenever he's closer to goal, he looks not, I want to say threatening because he would miss these chances and looks bad on his part. But to me, he's much more of a threat when it comes to goal compared to Brahim. That goal that he missed, who passed the ball to Tonali? I remember that ball that went in. Kamada would have scored that easily.
Yeah.
But CDK, in my opinion, I think he's I would say if we don't get a striker in the I wouldn't be surprised if Pioli moves him as like the quote unquote false line and link up play. Because Giroud, more or less, he literally does a little one touch links up with Leao or whatnot. You see it all the time. We tried doing that in the UCL, but Cherby had him on like all day, had him locked up. But in my opinion, a lot of people might not like CDK. I like CDK. I think he's a phenomenal player. But I think Pioli will also be in question as well.
Yeah. Well, I definitely 100% agree with you that as a false nine, it makes more sense because the one game he did play as a false nine with us, it was against Torino, where he started from the position there, center forward, and he ended up looking like a false nine. I thought he did very well in that game. He did help the midfield come up. His link-up play was good. He looked active. It's when you put him in that cam role and he's facing the goal, that's where he kind of looks lost. So, yeah, I agree with you. And I do think that there is potential there for CDK. I'm not going to take this season and just give up on CDK. So I agree with you, my man.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of pressure on him because, for one, we kind of had a feeling Brahim was going to leave and we didn't have a 10. And, he kind of looks like Kaká. And also the highlight reels and the environment he was playing also. But to me, the bigger question is Pioli's like as a coach because I still like Pioli. I think when we look at the managers across Europe, I think he's more or less a manager. I don't think maybe he.
Oh, sorry, we're losing you, my man. Hey, bruv, my bad, but we are losing you. Cannot hear you. The connection is gone.
Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me? No, bro, we lost you, but I'm going to go on to the next caller. Dear, it was a pleasure talking to you, my man. Join us again. Unfortunately, the connection is going in and out. We can't hear you right now. But are you there? Yeah. Anyway, guys, D. Ibra, thank you for joining us. Join us again next time. Looking forward to hear from you. Thank you for joining us. First time caller. All right, let's go on to the next caller. We got Ace in the house. What's up, Ace? Ace, you're on mute.
Ace, what's up?
Ace, are you there?
Yeah, are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Okay. How y'all doing?
Excellent. Oh, Ace, there's a crazy echo. Maybe you have to mute your YouTube or something.
Okay, hold on. Are y'all hearing me now?
Hello?
Is that better?
Okay. Just go ahead. I'll be quiet. Just go ahead.
Okay. Oh. Is it better now?
Yeah, no, you're good. I'm hearing my own echo. You
Okay.
just talk.
All right. So thanks, guys. Okay. So my first thing, with the stadium, I don't understand why it is that we are even thinking about a 60,000 when last season we averaged 70,000 people. Um, so I don't understand the logic behind the stadium size. Um, so that really bothers me. Um, but mostly what I want to talk about is, like, I don't know if you all saw, there was some reports that came out today on the TV revenue that Milan made, about 80 million euros this season, alone from Syria. And then when you take into consideration the revenue that we would have gotten from finishing in the top four in the Champions League and the prize money from the Serie A, why it is that we only have 35 million for the transfer market. I don't know if you guys, Antonio, I don't know, is it that we're paying back the loan or what? What are your suggestions on why it is that 35 is the budget?
Sorry, I'm gonna mute you when I talk, just so the people don't
Yeah,
hear
that's
that
fine.
echo. Okay, in my opinion, it is because of the loan. A lot of people have discussed that. I think it is because of the loan and also because of the other expenses of the club. I think when it comes to the market, they're going to be looking at selling players in order to fund the market. I think that's going to be the main let's say energy drive for the market. They're not going to inject the money. They're not going to inject further money. Obviously, they made their calculations. All the revenue, a certain percentage gets allocated for one place, for another place. Some of it, there's a lot of expenses at Milan. It's all self-paid now. There's nobody injecting money now. They wanted Milan to pay for itself, so this is essentially what they're doing. So I think, it's a combination of the expenses they have, the salaries, maintenance, and blah 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 blah, and all of that, plus the loan, high interest loan, and then again, when it comes to the market, I think we're just going to look at selling players in order to fund the market. All right, go ahead, Ace.
I see that, right? But I mean, between Rebic, Origi, and Macias and Salamakers, I mean, how much money are we really going to accumulate from those sales? You know what I mean? Like,
Not much.
I mean, maybe 10 million, maybe 12, which pushes our budget to what, 45, 50 million euros. I mean, I don't know. That just really frustrates me that we don't utilize. Like, I mean, when you're financing loans and stuff, you can always refinance, right? Like, we had a great season this year. Why not just take a little bit of a risk and give us just a little bit more money so that we could actually invest in the team, instead of just like penny pinching and this stupid Moneyball thing. I'm still not sold on Skynet, honestly. Like, I mean, I know you could hear my passion. It really annoys me that we're penny pinching, and it just really frustrates me. That's my main, like, I just wanted to vent on the facts, that we actually making more money. Like, when we succeeded last year into this year, we actually made more money because we won, and like, winning trophies, but yet still our Skynet overlords don't see like that success brings more revenue. It just baffles my mind, really.
You know what? Um, the things that you just said got Maldini fired. Be brave. Invest a little bit more money. Let's do it. Let's get it. Those are the exact words that got Maldini fired. Yeah, no, I hear your frustration. Unfortunately, we can only just but vent and talk about it. I do every day. So I hear you, my man, and I agree with you. It is a little bit sad that this is the ownership of this is Milan, that we're run by AI and Moneyball and algorithms and yeah, I mean, look at the difference. Real Madrid is spending a lot of money to buy the best players in the world in order to keep the club at the highest level of competition, while we are trying to get these new players to see if we can just finish top four. And then one more thing, I want to address something you said. So with Origi, Rebic, Messias, and Salamakers. So let's think about that. Or maybe between Origi and Rebic, you can get somewhere between 10 million just those two players, right? 5 million for one, maybe Origi a little bit more than Rebic because his contract is still in the middle of his no, just in the beginning of his contract. So let's say maybe 10 million. So let's say 15 million just those two players. That's being pretty optimistic, okay? Then you have Messias, another 8 million. So let's say 20 or between 6 and 8 million. I'm just going to be as optimistic as possible. So between those three players, let's say 22 million. Add Salamakers to that, maybe a Salamakers you can sell for like a 20 million. So that's like 40 million right there. I think if you want to be optimistic, you can get close to 40 million with the sale of those players, in my opinion.
That is really optimistic. I mean, you already. I don't know if you saw there was like some rumors of Rebic only wanted like this team in Turkey wants Rebic, but they want him on loan. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
so I don't see 40 million, Roy. I see more like 20 million max for those players outgoing.
That's
Um,
realistic.
but what I also my last thing, Antonio, like I swear that CDK is gonna make you eat your words. I swear. If we give him one more season, I believe, I'm hoping, I'm being optimistic that Pioli finally sees the light and tries playing him maybe on the right side or a little bit higher. But I definitely think there's more to see from CDK in the
Wait, hold
future.
on 1 second. Since I was called out, did I? I never said that I wanted to that he's could never improve, but I said this season he was utterly a failure this year. I'm not saying he can't improve, but whatever.
I'm just saying it sounds like you're on the train of let's cash in for CDK. I mean, like I saw something on Twitter that said Zidane, like he didn't have a good first season when he came to the Serie A. Like the Serie A is a very hard league to get acclimatized to off the bat. Like name how many great players came
Yeah,
into this first season and won the hearts and minds right away.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay, Ronaldo, but like he's the exception, right? Like, could you name
Uh,
somebody else?
sorry,
Well,
sorry,
there
sorry.
are some players, but the thing is, like,
Hold
I
on.
just wanted to see something
Okay,
from
go ahead.
TBK this year. It's concerning that it is very concerning that we barely saw any, even like his movement was poor. So for me, I'm just saying he had a very, very poor season. I'm sure he can do better, but I'm just really how much longer will it take? We can't. We need players that can play.
Okay, I understand that, but okay, so I'm currently doing my C license as a coach, and one thing that they try to emphasize is that you as a coach needs to like breathe your philosophy and style of play into your players, and at that level, the players are going to do what the coach asks of them. Like so for me, I feel like it's more about how Pioli uses the players and their characteristics to best suit his style of play, and I don't think that he's optimizing the best skills out of CDK, and that's where I stand with the whole CDK debacle with fans. Is that I think that it really falls on Pioli, because if you remember last season, Milan's model was we want to get young, promising players into the team, and they did identify that CDK was that ideal profile to fit into that whole new age model, Moneyball model that Milan wants to push. So clearly, it comes down to like his tactical input and how he's being utilized in the team. I mean, he gets picked for Belgium's first team all the time, and just like Tonali is playing for the under 21s to help them reach far in the Euros. CDK has been pulled into the under 21s. He's captain in the under 21s. So clearly, outside of Pioli, other coaches see the qualities and how they can use him. So I just feel like the fans need to like be a little bit more relaxed with CDK and allow him to grow, you know?
Dude, yeah, but of course he has talent. I'm not denying that. And yeah, maybe Pioli isn't playing him the right way. I mean, we'll see. But at the end of the day, Pioli is our coach. He has his formation. If he's not contributing, I don't know. Like, we need to play someone else in his position and at the number 10, wherever Pioli, because that's Pioli's system. So for me, I don't know. I'm all for giving him time, but I mean, we can't have him be a starter anytime soon until he plays,
I mean,
Christmas.
I mean, if our objectives for this season is top four, then I think we should allow him time to grow in his position, because we're not looking for silverware this year. So there's no like pressure to win, really. So maybe he gets the time that he needs this season, and time will tell.
Yeah, man. I actually agree that the CDK story is not over. Now, Pioli did say, I don't know how true this is, of course, but Pioli did say that he's out of his plans. So we'll see what that means. SG says CDK's playing good right now versus Israel. I saw him play in Belgium. He did have a hockey assist against Germany when I saw him play. I think that the CDK story is not over, and I think that in a few years, CDK is going to turn out to be a very good player. It's just he's going through this phase of being young right now, and it's just his growth trajectory. He's just going through that. But yeah, thank you, Ace, for joining us. I really appreciate your voice, my man. Join us anytime, guys. We have 15 minutes left, so if you want to join the call, let us know. Oh, let me get Ace back on before we go into the next caller. Ace, can you hear me? So yeah, thank you, my man. And I do agree with you about CDK. Let's see what happens with him. Anything else you want to finish on?
Thanks for letting us come on here. Keep it up, guys, and I look forward to the forum tomorrow. Hopefully,
yeah, forum tomorrow, 100%. Yes.
All right. Forza Milan.
Forza Milan. See you guys. All right, guys. Lines are open for 15 more minutes. We're going to the next caller. We have Guido Meloni. What's up, Guido? How are you doing, sir?
Hey guys, how are you?
Very good, very good. Get it off your chest, Guido. Get it off your chest.
No, listening. I just turned on like 5 minutes ago, and I was listening to the guy about the cattle and stuff like that. Listen, every player came in Milan, they took 2 years, so maybe. And I agree with them that I believe instead he said the cattle should play upper. I think the cattle is good with the ball on his feet instead of play shoulder to the post. That's why right from the right side, going inside. He has to be free when he receives the ball. I will see him even play behind, not in front of the defense, but like in midfield, because he has a good skill. I don't see him receiving the ball in Italy with the Italian defense and stuff. And he got 3 players on him. Guess what? He make one dribble and then he lose the ball. I want to see him carrying the ball toward the offense. I don't know what really position. I think when I used to watch him, like lots of highlights, I saw him going from the right to the center because he's a left foot. So he's
Hey,
not a
guys,
wing.
Hey, one
So
thing, he's playing right now, by the way. He has. I'm looking at SofaScore. He has the highest rating on the Belgium U21 team, and he's playing as like a right winger.
What is
uh,
what are his stats? Let's
Well,
check
it's
his stats.
0-0. The game is 0-0. It's I think it's halftime.
wait, he plays right winger.
He look that
That-
SofaScore is 4-3-3 with him.
That's where I always saw him. He always played right winger. Every highlights I saw, he was going from the right to the left. So I don't understand why Pioli. Pioli really. He say on the news whatever when they with the journalist stuff that when they ask the question, he said no, he cannot play right wing. But how can you put stuff in your mind? Pirlo became in front of the defense thanks to Ancelotti. He played in front of the defense. Everybody was failing with Pirlo. He was a talent. Everybody knew was a talent, but he couldn't play close to the defense of the other team because he wasn't strong enough. And he was like that. So Pirlo became the best thanks to Ancelotti that put him in front of the defense. So the Pioli is not inventing anything. Let me say something. I was the most appreciative of him because we won the Italian league. But if you think about it, he never all the young players that succeed with him just because he was obligated to put him on the field. Kalulu would never play if it was for 11. I told this one yesterday. I already said that. And Chow the same. We had to wait all season to see Chow playing because we got all the injuries and stuff. So what kind of coaches they cannot try one player every once in a while? And that's why Adelaide didn't play because he had all the other midfielders available. He played Bakayoko, he didn't play Adelaide. That's ridiculous. I don't say it's the same position. But forget. It's a lost cause. He didn't do anything with the young kids. Nothing.
Unfortunately, you have some coaches that they have their ideas and they stick with their ideas. Like a player, they say this player is not good here, not good there, but then he goes to another coach and the coach has different ideas. Unfortunately, Pioli has his set ideas, and they don't work out for
Roy, before I forget, let me say something. Ask Antonio what I heard this morning on the Radio RossonARI, the YouTuber that I watch in Italy. They do lots of shows during the day. Okay, guess what? Franks got called instead of De Bruyne because De Bruyne got injured on a big national team. He was the captain of the under 21. I hope that guy is gonna cost $300 million one day. Of course, it's not gonna happen. Because he's the only player that we had in the team. Even better at Tonali with the face up. He looked at the field. He was stepping up with the ball, going over the other players in the midfield. And he never missed a pass. Just because he made a foul against Roma, no, he wasn't good anymore. So, and that's even fault of the Milan YouTuber, Milan fan, because they were talking shit about him when he did the foul.
Okay, but objectively speaking, like he cannot replace De Bruyne. Like he's there to replace the numbers, but he's probably going to.
Yeah, but the numbers. What I mean, of course. But guess what? They didn't call. How many players they could have called? Because it's the characteristic he has. He's a beast. He's strong. He's 20 years old, and we let it go for. I'm sure 10 million we could have get him. So go find another midfielder like that. How much they cost the good midfielder when you buy? Go look.
The price for him for the Riscatto was 12 million.
Yeah, I'll say. You think 10 million they wouldn't give to us? So big deal. So we cannot even spend. That's why when we talk, we cannot even spend the 2 million for a player. And by the way, I like the guy the playing the MLS, the Argentinian guy. Yeah, I got a message on my phone. They look like Milan. But do we know the price? I never heard the price of this guy.
I think it's
Almada.
20, 25. That's what they're saying.
2025, he plays MLS. Come on, man. That's ridiculous.
But he's good. He won the World Cup.
No, he's good. I like him. Him. But what the heck?
I'm sure. But hey, MLS teams are richer than Serie A teams. Yeah. So
I'm not talking about the money, the level. I don't like to watch it. I'm sorry, but MLS.
Yeah, but that's why they ask for a lot of money because these guys are rich.
All the loser cannot make Europe to go to MLS, but this guy's an exception because he got called with Argentina and he won the World Cup. So,
well, this
Argentina
guy,
coach called him.
yeah, but this guy, the difference is that he's in the beginning of his career. So his next move is probably Europe. I think whoever gets him is going to hit the jackpot because he's in the same category as Fernandez, as Alvarez. He's basically one of the new best Argentinian players. So,
Listen, he
his
looks
next.
good. I like it. I like it when I saw that. Of course, I watch only highlights. I don't know.
Well,
Highlights doesn't tell me the truth,
but the highlights do show that he's got a wicked shot and he scores from outside the box. How many players do we have that score from outside the box? Zero. So,
Yeah, I know.
so
I know. But
yeah. No, he's good. He's good. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
All right,
I like
what
it.
else?
But you think Milan's gonna pay 25 million?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's hard to say what
What
Milan,
about
how
the
big it is.
guy what's his name? The
Romero.
Lazio one. Did we get him?
You know who what he looks
He's
like?
18. 18. I
He
take
looks
it.
he looks very very acerbo. You know what? Acerbo.
I know,
What that
I
means.
know. I don't take him. First of all, he can still play with the youth team. What I mean, he's at zero and he doesn't have a big pay. So
I would take
yeah,
him right away. Take him right away.
why
Zero.
not? I mean, you take a risk, it's cheap, so why not?
That's not even a risk, to be honest with you. I mean, you're
And
not.
you
You're,
look like Diaz. The only thing that Diaz, we have to pay 25 million, 20 million, whatever. And this guy's free. He's
yeah,
I mean, he's shorter than Diaz, but looks like very good with the ball. I saw him sometime with the Lazio.
yeah. For me, look, this is a kind of player. You get him, you give him, you slap him a 5-year contract, the
Yeah,
maximum
that's what I
amount
mean.
of contracts. Then, if you see that he needs time, you can send him out on loan for 1 year, bring him back. But he's only 18, so he can only go up from here.
Listen, Roy, I would go to, sometimes I say Africa, I get 100 people. I go to freaking South America. You got to go to the youth team. Uruguay just killed us. Italy was so good, they killed us. They got balls, they got stamina. They live life for soccer. So they mature before other country because that's all they do. They want to see they're poor, they don't have money over there. They got lots of shit going on.
Yeah, Uruguay is a
So
good place to
Uruguay
get players.
is a good country. It's like a Switzerland in South America. I know that.
But
I mean,
Uruguay,
most of them-
football-wise, Uruguay is like Croatia in Europe. It's a small country that produces a lot of talent. Yeah,
they want to World Cup.
yeah, I know. Uruguay has a lot of talent, no doubt about that.
I
No
used
doubt
to
about
love
it.
so many players, man. They got so many every year.
But listen, Guido. But I assure you this: that these two teams, when they meet again in 5 years, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same because in Italy, so tutti I figli di mamma e papà, they grow up.
Yeah, I know. They're all spoiled. Yeah.
They become mature and they become men.
Yeah,
a
but
little bit later.
they don't mean you can have a talent. The thing is, what I mean, when I get 18 years old in South America, they want to succeed. They need the desperate. They love to succeed because they need it. And now, I mean, most of them they got a problem. They're not rich. I mean, I know. Like, I mean, my family's in Brazil. My brother's good. But now lots of people is poor. So that's what you gotta get. Soccer is a street soccer. It's a street sport, man. Poor people are stronger. You gotta build such a stamina when you play soccer. You gotta be so confident. It's not being arrogant. You gotta be confident. So
Yeah, I agree.
Pioli's too nice. I don't think it's that good for them.
So, do you think? What do you think is going to happen with Pioli?
I don't know. Listen, it's not that I don't like him. We won the Italian league, but look at the versus Inter. He cannot invent something different. I don't understand why. You lost, okay, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Guess what? The only time that we did good with Inter, even though we lost, was when he played 3. But he was still experimenting there. And for me, he put the wrong players on the field. Because 3-5-2, I would play different players, or 3-4-3, whatever. I think we have the players for 3 midfielders, 3 defenders, and we have the perfect player. Kalulu, guess what? He's a right back, but he plays center. So he's a perfect for a defense at 3. Same thing, Chao on the side of Kjaer. He put Kjaer in the middle, which has a great pass. Chao is a great pass. They're two tall players. I mean, I'm taking off Tomori. I'm not taking off Tomori. Tomori can play even at 3. So Edge is even better because sometimes he make a mistake. Sometimes some people can cover for him. Hernandez could have the chance to go back and forth and not worry always about taking the defender. So
And okay, so let's do this. Tell me which coaches you would like to see at Milan if
No, that's a
Pioli.
big question
Let's say
because
Pioli
I
gets.
don't know. I'm be honest with you,
Let's pretend Pioli gets sacked.
I
Who would
love
you do?
Sosa. I like Sosa, even though he's not Italian. But
Sousa.
I watch
Really?
Salernitana improving so bad, man. Besides, Salernitana got good players. I love the players they have. But you know, you ever seen Salernitana all game
Speaking
playing?
of a player who came to Italy in his first year,
You see Koulibaly. What about Koulibaly, the midfielder Salernitana have? That guy's a machine, man. He never stopped. I like Tamesi, Verona.
Good.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm talking
speaking of,
about even extra players.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Talking about like the situation with what's the young kid, the Romero. Why don't we get if we don't have money to buy a $40 million player, right? Why don't we get 10 of them? You go around the world, you find 10 people like that, different position. Maybe 3 of them would be good because he looks good. Doesn't mean he's gonna be good. But
Wait.
he
Hold
already
on.
played in Italy. He already played in Italy.
You skipped. The sound went out. What did you say?
Oh, I skipped.
The sound
No,
went
I
out.
was saying, why don't we get like 10 players like Romero, okay? Which they can even play the youth team if really not too bad. You know, instead of getting a $40 million player and then we can use, I mean, he's gonna fail. Look at the cut, 35 million, and then you cannot buy anything else. So what I mean is, I'm talking because we don't have the. I mean, we don't want to spend the money. Now, I think we have the money. When I hear Inter Mercato, I want to cry. They got so $800 million debts, and they can buy. They're talking about Frattesi, Milinkovic,
and,
How the heck is possible?
And to add to that, I also heard yesterday that Zhang is asking for another injection of money from Oak Tree. So they're just going to pile up the debt. They just want to pile up the debt, essentially.
Really, I really hope Zhang doesn't sell Inter because who's buying teams right now? It's all this Arab stuff. You know, do you hear about Manchester United?
Oh, but
they want to buy $1 billion for the market. They want to put on $1 billion for the market.
Milan is much more desirable with our.
I don't mind for any ownership wherever they're from. If they want to come to invest in Milan, you're more than welcome. You can come from Mars for all I care.
That pissed me off. You know why? Because if we reach a semi-final Champions League, of course, we didn't play many big teams, but we won the Italian League last year. We reached semi-final Champions League. We qualified Champions League 3 times in a row. So that means the team is not super bad. So we don't have to invest $1 billion. That would be nice, like 150, you know, and you fix the team.
Yeah, we're only, we're only 120 million away from.
They worry about the stadium. Who the heck is gonna go San Donato to watch Milan? Milan is San Siro, is in Milan. San Donato. Well, it's like you go to my town to watch the game, please.
How far is San Donato from the center?
I don't know. I have no idea. They say it's good because it's close to the highway. Of course, I mean, I'm just saying, but you watch, we're gonna leave San Siro, Inter's gonna take over. And I mean, it's still San Siro. I'm sorry, La Scala del Calcio for me. I mean, 80,000 people fit there. And they don't even use every spot.
Gotcha.
Used to be 85,000. I mean.
Gotcha. All right, listen. Listen, we got to close because we have to transition to the other stream. And Antonio's going to be taking care of that.
Yeah, I'll put the link in chat, by the way, so some people can join us.
That starts in 10 minutes. So we're going to close for today. Guido, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Nice talking to you guys.
Nice talking
what
to
are you gonna do there? You're gonna do the live now for the Italian game?
Yeah, yes. I'm gonna do a watch along.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Chicks and Pig, guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here for, maybe I'm going to join a little bit later, but I have to go right now. So anyway, guys, everybody, thank you for joining us today. Everybody that came on the calls, thank you for joining us. Click that like button on your way out. Guido, grazie, forza Milan, forza.
Prego, forza Milan.
Forza chi?
Azzurri.
Forza Azzurri.
Forza Azzurri, come on.
Let's go. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
It's going to be a boring game with Spain. I'm sorry. They play the same way.
It's gonna be Spain with the ball for 80% of the time, and
Not
Italy
really, because
gonna-
Italy can keep the ball. Believe me, it's gonna be boring. That's all.
All right. Well, Forza Azzurri anyway. All right, guys. Thank you. See you next time. Alla prossima. Arrivederci and ciao.
All right, ciao, ciao, ciao.
So,
Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still. Hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall. Fear I weighed the person you